Ryan goes hard against Riddle. O'Donnell almost got the first touch. Mickey Edmonds went in hard. Quinn in hard. And finally McGregor taken high. He is taken high. The call made by umpire Kevin Farley. And he'll kick into attack. Will Duncan McGregor on the left foot. The Demons going with the breeze to left of screen in the red and white in front. Imps almost. The mark has been paid. And they have it deep in defence, the Imperial side. Stephen Tudor's with me in the commentary box. We have Marty Foster down on the boundary line. Stephen, it should be a big one. The contest between the Demons and, of course, the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it certainly will, Jim. Of course, like I said before, the two teams have excellent on-ballers, which will be the key to the game. They may nullify each other a bit, where I think a player like Darren Sims will come to the fore. With the on-ballers nullified a bit, and Sims, he can step up, take a few big grabs and get them going. I think it'll be the key for South today. Jim, you forgot to ask before this game, who do you pick?
I think the Demons, Stephen. I think the Demons, but I'm hoping for a big contest. Mick Ryan in defence from the kick from Cranage. Goes to Patrick O'Donnell, and Quinn comes hard on O'Donnell, but O'Donnell well and truly in possession. Kicks towards half forward. Sloppy kick comes out the back. Free kick being given. Kevin Farley picks it up, and it will go to number 4, Renato Prosperi Porter, the Rover.
Jim, I noticed Patrick O'Donnell's all alone in the centre. I mean, Imperials cannot afford to let a player of that calibre be by himself.
Big leap, Sims almost on the second grab. Bernie Porter tidies up in that right back pocket and boots wide. Number 12 running out there, Michael Steer for Imperials. Couldn't take control. There's Cranage, got it on to Steer. Here's the captain coach in Edmonds. He'll come on left foot. He's caught holding the ball. Yeah. Big call by Kevin Farley against the captain coach, and Brian Harris has the free kick. Fair enough, Stephen.
Yeah, it was fair enough. He had no options upfield though, which is a bit of a worry early.
Very shortly we'll go to Marty Foster's on the boundary line. We'll check interchange. We'll check the strength of the breeze. Vansittart Park, it's the 95 grand final, Western Border League, and Darren Sims has the mark, and he'll kick in from that right forward pocket for the Demons. Free kick maybe to Sims. And will he put the first score on the board for the Demons? Defending their title against the 93 winners, Imperials. Big kick, Sims will miss out to the right by a long way. And umpire Wilson says, boundary umpire Wilson makes the call out on the full as we go down to the boundary line to Martin Foster. Martin's in tune there. He knows who is on the interchange. Come in, Marty.
Yes, Jim, for Imps, McKay and Aaron are off, and for South Gambier, Lane and Hodges. I reckon this wins about a 2-goal breeze in South Gambier's favour.
Thanks, Marty. Go back to you shortly. The action will start to unfold. A fairly sedate start, Stephen. We thought there might be a bit of fireworks, but nothing untoward as yet.
Not as yet, Jim. No, I fully expected there to be a few fireworks at the start of the game. Maybe, you know, a few of the players trying to ruffle each other up, but it hasn't happened, which is good for football, I suppose. But I'm sure the spectators would have liked to have seen a bit of a scuffle before the game.
It may still come. Number 3, Shane Keane got it out, and the Imps boys go forward. Glenn has the sit on that one and takes a clever mark. Tony McGuire makes the call. The hand pass goes to Mullen. Mullen goes long over the top to Fear. Already the Demons runners. Fear is on left foot towards half forward. Not read well that time by Adderwall. Finally, Imps come back in defence towards the centre wing. Muldoon underneath, 3 on him. The punch goes to ground. Running player is Brophy on the receive. He kicks on right foot towards half forward. There's Wayne Riddle going after the ball. Beats Wayne Glynn over the line as well. And we'll have a throw in between centre wing and right half forward for the Imperials Bulldogs. Throw in. Ryan, Muldoon, O'Donnell for South. Colin Riddle got a hand on it. Mullen taken off him by number 12, Mick Steer. And Imps go forward. I think that may be on the full, or did it bounce just inside the line? And the boundary umpire, Walter.
Key matchup, Jim, I've noticed they've put Grant Harvey on Wayne Riddle, which will be a big challenge for Grant Harvey.
Got the tagging roll, Stephen. Throw in. Right half forward for Imperials. Ryan from behind. Big punch. Brophy a chance for Imps. The doggies into attack, was a touch off the boot. Chance for Steer. The bounce was unkind, and it'll be thrown in deep in that right forward pocket. Umpire, boundary umpire Walter, I should say, will throw it in again. Well, Marty's told us the breeze going left off screen. Advantage to South Gambier. They're defending at the moment. Opening stages of the 95 Western Border League Grand Final. Fear, long hand pass. Brian Harris chips away in front of the grandstand wing. Here's Harvey. He's got the job on Riddle, as Stephen Tude told us. Grant Harvey works inside Riddle. We'll go with the long hand pass to Prosperi Porter. Look for Harris, and finally good work from Quinn, denied him. Comes back towards Mick Ryan. Quinn hard on Ryan. Doesn't move the Rock of Gibraltar. Mullen is cool. The kick is not good. Brophy, finally Harris, left foot towards Kevin Harris, his brother. He's caught, finally got it to Duncan McGregor, run down by Edmonds. Picked up by that time number 1 for Imps is Lang. Kick forward for South Gambier. Here's Salmon to Harris. Fumble. 21 back for the Imperial side is Garen Fisher. Maybe it'll go to the boundary line at will. We'll have a throw in. No, not called. Patrick O'Donnell was there. This time it's out of bounds. The throw in to take place. And there's a shot at Peter Sims, the captain coach. Mark Lane on his right. The reserve today on the interchange bench for South Gambier. Peter Sims, the coach of the Demons. To ground it goes. Number 6 was Greg Vaughan over the top. Riddle got a hand pass out. It came in the direction of Paddy O'Donnell. The left footer by O'Donnell, but there's nobody home. It's all Imperials. Sitting back there, number 4, Bernie Porter. On left foot, boots it wide. Cradinge has got to sit and does it well. Number 38 after him, Fear. The kick is not good. Nice and wide, number 3. Shane Keane, he can't gather. The bounce eludes him. Back to Porter was clever. Porter long handball to Lang. Can they work something out of this? Cranage, a long kick towards full forward. Ryan's behind, got the punch. Good defensive stuff by Big Mick. And we'll have a throw in deep in the left forward pocket for the Imperials Bulldogs. Stephen.
Mick Ryan does that so well all the time, backing defence, helping his backman out, and he's such a big fella. He just punches the ball away, and he's quite effective in doing so.
Indeed he is. 87 is Bud Walker. He'll come from behind. Got a hand on it. Be tidied up from defence by Wayne Glynn. The kick is high to that outer side. Captain coach Mickey Edmonds on the fly. Off he goes on that left foot. It is raking to the goal square. They want someone tall. They have him from behind. A big grab, not paid. Gee, it looked all right from here. We're a long way from it. And finally, South work it to the boundary line, and they wanted the call. Imps didn't come. Stephen Chute, make a comment.
Well, I think he was a bit rough there. I mean, I would have been very disappointed if I didn't get paid that mark.
Gee whiz. Boundary umpire Walter back in over his head. Big punch from Walker. South Gambier clear it. Number 12 sitting well that time, Michael Sims. Ran it wide. And there'll be a free kick down the ground a little. Duncan McGregor will get the benefit of that one. Number 9 did the offending Jason Muldoon.
Paul Mullen got the free kick.
Indeed it was, Stephen. Back to Paul Mullen. The right footer plays on, boots in towards the centre of the ground. Harvey almost take the grab. Imps players come in hard on the bottom of the pack. And umpire Farley makes the call. He'll bounce. No score on the board. We've gone to 4 minutes in the opening term. Western Border League Grand Final of 95. Kick by Vaughan, smothered. That was Porter. It's also smothered. Riddle goes hard. Here's a chance for Mick Edmonds. He's tackled and taken out of the play by Prosperi Porter. Knocked on. Vaughan goes in with the foot. Towards Fear. No, in fact, it was Harvey. Imps work it forward and loose out there. The mark has been taken for the Imperial side. They'll work it in on the right foot. Towards half forward. Big Mick is sitting underneath it, and Ryan takes it. Hands off the Glynn. Running out of the fence, trying to create something. Brian Harris. Kick towards half forward. Running players want it. Attawell's got to run at it. Here's Sims. Comes back inside the handball. 2-on-1, but it's indirect. Harris, cleverly done towards Attawell. Attawell stands up, and the tackle is taken high, and advantage was to be played. Kevin Farley makes the call. He'll bring it back. And number 2, Richard Attawell, will bring up the first score of the Western Border League Grand Final. We've gone almost, Stephen Chute, 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's pressure out there, Jim. Lots of hard tackles being laid. Skills are down a little bit. I'm sure both sides will settle down, though, into the game. Scott Herman was a little bit unlucky there. I felt he got pushed in the back from behind and got sort of tangled up, but it's the way the umpire sees it, so.
Richard Attawell from 25, directly in front, starts it right, and it goes right. Will it make the distance? Boy, it just made the distance. The goal umpire's happy with it, goal umpire Ferry. And that is a goal, the first of the Western Border League Grand Final to the reigning champ South Gambier through the courtesy of Richard Attawell. The youngster brings up the first. South Gambier have the first. As we look to go to Marty Foster, who's down on the boundary line. And Marty sensing the crowd reaction. I'll just check that breeze with you, Martin. How is it? Marty Foster on the boundary line for 8 Sport this afternoon at the Western Border League Grand Final. Marty.
Yes, Jim, I think the breeze has picked up slightly, probably up to 3 goals now, and the South supporters obviously pretty happy with that first goal. A great start for South.
Thank you, Martin. We'll go back to you again shortly. Brophy got a tap on in direction of Riddle. Comes inside with that right foot, penetrates half forward. Templeton and Capewell, and the contest was all Lee Capewell. He did it very well against number 8, Darren Templeton. The fullback goes wide. A running player out there, 21-8 is Grant Harvey. Feeds it off nicely to Prosperi Porter. They run it through that position through O'Donnell towards half forward. Good spoil from behind. Came from Scotty Herman. Here's Kevin Harris. The ox on the left foot back towards half forward. from behind number 12, almost Michael Sims, not paid. 21 is Garen Fisher, and Imperials work it defensively towards that scoreboard side where Porter takes a good mark. Running with the flight of the ball, Bernie Porter, right foot kick towards that wing position. Cranage from behind, good grab, and the youngster has the ball, Ben Cranage.
Cranage and Porter picking up a lot of early touches for the Imperial side, Jim.
The running players working the ball, Stephen, into this breeze. Riddle went in front. Here's Duncan McGregor, the left footer, wobbles it back to the centre, and a good mark taken here by Kevin Harris. Already played in premierships at 2 clubs, East Gambier and South Gambier last year and in 92. Boots it wide. Here's Kevin Quinn in defence. He does it well in front of 16 that time for South Gambier in Jason Han. Quinn towards Edmonds. Takes the mark. He's loose. He'll handball it on. Good play. Delaney. Hand pass it wide to Brophy. Brophy long. Yes, he does. In fact, he got it from Lang. Brophy long towards full forward. Free kick given. No. Play on. Snap is taken. And the first goal for Imperials goes on the board. The youngster getting it in number 3 that time for the Imperials Bulldogs, Shane Keane.
Under 21 Player of the Year award in the Western Border this year.
Indeed he was, Stephen. Did it well. Read it off hands. First to Imps. We have a goal apiece, a handy one into that breeze.
I think Templeton was a bit unlucky not to get a free kick on that last play, actually. I felt he got dragged down a bit by Lee Capewell.
Yeah, well, maybe the ball running with them. Imps got the ball, kicked the goal. That's what they wanted. They've levelled the scoreline, and we've played for 12 minutes in this, the first quarter. Tony Magira gets us underway again. Ryan against Riddle. To ground, Vaughan. Got it out nicely to Edmonds. Ran down. Number 12 is Steer. Gee, it's ferocious in there as they go over the top of Mickey Edmonds. Number 28, Grant Harvey, was in there. He won't shirk the issue. And umpire Kevin Farley will start us off again.
Both sides, free running sides, not allowed to either side to be done at the moment. Their tackling is very ferocious.
Big punch from Harris. Ended up with Imps. They drive forward. Glenn has the set. The bounce is unkind. He needs to work it out of there. Sims. Hand pass to Mullen. Left foot kick by Michael Mullen will find Han. Matthew Jacobs, in fact. No, it's not. It's, in fact, Jason Han. Called it right the first time. Heavily disguised as Jacob. Long forward move by Han. Sitting underneath it was O'Donnell. Couldn't get it. Good tackle. Taken away by Prospery Porter. Handed wide. Kevin Harris. He's dangerous from here. On the run. Kevin Harris slams on that northern goal. And the Ox puts through the second for South Gambier in the opening quarter of the Western Border League Grand Final.
Bread and butter for Kevin Harris there, Jim. He loves those goals on the run.
Brilliant, brilliant play by Kevin Harris. Beautiful hand pass set up for him from Prospery Porter. O'Donnell had a hand in it as well. Good play, good grab from hand, went on the right foot, drove it long, and the second to the Demons. Good, clean goal to the South Gambier Demons, and they lead 2-1, 12-minute mark. The opening quarter, Western Border League Grand Final. Tony Magira puts it down. Again, Ryan against Riddle. To ground, O'Donnell had some good touches early. Back forms, Farley calls it a halt. I'll bounce, he says. The Demons leading 2-1. They've got the breeze. They're going to left of screen in the red and white. Worth a couple of goals, maybe 3, as Marty Foster said. From the boundary line, we'll go to Marty shortly. Here's Harvey. Forward, Adderall. Tackled, caught in possession. Play on, says the umpire. Imps fall all over it. And umpire Tony Magira calls it in the back. It will be a free kick to Imperials. They handball it off to Edmonds. Edmonds will come wide. On the right foot, delightful kick. And inside that one to mark taken by number 22, Colin Riddle, the ruckman. Delightful kick off the right foot, Stephen, shoot by Mickey Edmonds.
Centimetre perfect, as Dennis Committee would say, Jim.
He
Absolutely
would. He'd have loved that. Riddle kicking along, wanting his brother in Wayne, and he finds him. And the big number 15 takes the mark over Brian Harris on the right foot. Attacking side for Imps. Big leaps wanted. Ryan got hand to it. Vaughan read it well. To the boundary line it goes, and goes over finally to throw in to take place. Deep in attack for the Imperials Bulldogs against the breeze. An impressive opening by the Doggies. Throw in. Riddle and Ryan to ground. Imps have tied up in that exchange. Vaughan doesn't like it. Prospery Porter says nick off, or words to that effect. And we'll have another bounce. Shane Keane come up holding the head. Not a lot in that. Bounce down. Inside 50 for the Bulldogs. Ryan. Prospery Porter. Out of danger. Mullen. Riddle on him. Good tap, Mullen. Again he goes, Mullen. Caught up in that one. Riddle went hard. Works it well. Got the kick away was Cranage. Forward they go. Good mark, number 9, Jason Muldoon, and he'll shoot on that southern goal. And this would be very handy for the Imps boys, Stephen, into the breeze.
Would, Jim, yes. Making a goal out of nothing there. The play's still a bit scrappy. To kick this goal, like as you said, into this breeze is going to make it very tough for South. Imps have started well, have kept the South running side down and have worked the ball up through their own runners. And now we see Jason Muldoon shooting for Imps' second goal.
We'll need to start it slightly right and bring it back. He starts at left. Will he bring it back from left to right? Oh, Jason, ever so close. I'll give him another 10 tries. I bet he can't do that, Stephen.
Always said, hit the post, it should be worth 7 points. It's a lot harder to do.
First minor score on the scoreline. Imperials 1-1-7, the reigning champs South Gambier. 2 straight 12 as Capewell brings it to that defensive side. Well, more down the middle. Big leap behind by McGregor. Unable to take it, went over the top of Steer. Imps work it forward through Vaughan. And will he get a free kick? He will. And Brian Harris offending that time. And Greg Vaughan will drive it along. Number 6. Figured well in the medal count this year, did Greg Vaughan, Stephen.
Runner-up this year, Jim?
He was close. Number 2. The winner was a standout. Dean Jenkinson from Hayward, no doubt about him.
Yeah, top player, Jim.
Vaughan inside 50, into the breeze, to the square. Big flayers want it. Off hands, who's on the ground? Kick from Imps, is it good enough? It may well be. And who do they pat on the back? I think Darren Templeton, in fact, gets the credit for that one. Templeton gets his first. Keener's already got one. And Imps go to a 1-point lead, 2-1-13. The Demons have got some work to do. They're 2 straight 12.
Yeah, a few too many flew just in that instance, Jim. Ball come to ground and there was no South guys at the back of the pack for him to scoop it up. And, of course, there was an easy goal just kicked off the ground.
Good start by the Doggies. 2-1-13. South Gambier, 2 goals straight. Tony Magira getting us underway again back in the centre. On 8 Sport, the 95 Western Border League Grand Final from Vansittart Park in Mount Gambier. Mick Ryan, the engine driver for the Demons. He starts it all, he'll boot long. They need a couple of quick ones at D's. We've gone over 15. Darren Sims high. Adderwell couldn't take it from behind. He went to ground. Sims on again. Brophy intercepts for Imperials. Quinn's in there. Adderwell this time. Scrubs a kick forward. Porter on Harris one-on-one. This will be interesting. Strength and pace. Hooks it back. There's Harris sitting on the goal line. Kevin Quinn. Boots grandstand side. Sitting underneath it and taking a very good mark is Dale Hurley. Feeds it off to Brophy. Brophy onto the wing. Who's sitting under this one?
Keane.
Big grab by Keane. Shane Keane works inside Mullen. Good hand pass back to Brophy. Good support Brophy. Shoots it away. Look at this room he's got Vaughan. The bounce is not kind. The kick wasn't all that good from Brophy. And the throw-in will take place deep in the right forward pocket for the Imperials Bulldogs. The Doggies lead at 2-1 to 2 goals.
Lucky
Here's
for
Ryan.
South then, Jim.
Keane. Ryan again tried hard. Kick by Keane. It was Vaughan, in fact, the clearing kick by McGregor. Brophy went hard. Number 12's got it for South Gambier, Michael Sims. And the Portland Seconds boys just walking past. Stephen, will they say hello to you and me?
Letting us know they won, Jim.
They did it
And
well
good on them
too. Portland winning the seconds and winning it very well. The mark taken, good defensive stuff in defence for the Imperial side by number 11, Dale Hurley, the veteran. Played in the 93 grand final side. They won it then. Hurley looking for his second. Kicks wide, looking for Riddle. Big leap by Keane.
Shane Keane up high, took a great grab then. One mark, one grab, nice and clean.
Under 21 player of the year, as Stephen Chute told us. Boots into half forward, beautifully read. Cranage the Porter. Porter goes long into that left forward pocket. Templeton getting back. Good defensive stuff, Capewell. And they're under siege back there to Demons. They trail it 2-1 to 2 goals straight.
Jim, Grant Harvey's been shifted onto Bernie Porter. Obviously, Peter Sims acknowledges that Bernie Porter was getting a few too many touches and he feels that Grant Harvey may do the job on him.
The matchups are going to be critical. Tony Magira makes the call. Ryan got the free, handed it off very quickly. They run it out of defence, do the Demons, and someone violated behind play, and it was an Imps ball that will go downfield. He'll be reported.
Off for this.
The card coming out. Tony Magira is going to report number 9, as Stephen called it. Jason Muldoon, he'll get a yellow card, and Muldoon is off. Imps have to play the last 10 minutes, one short.
That was stupid thing to do, Jim. His team's playing well. There was no reason for it all. The ball was well cleared, and he's come and done a stupid thing like that. He wasn't playing too bad himself. He can only do himself harm.
Yeah, Paul Mullen, the one he hit from behind. And here we have a shot of the big fella. Jason Muldoon coming off. Imps are one short. Mickey Edmonds has got to reshuffle as the Demons go forward. Can they score from this move? No, they tied up very nicely that time by Timmy Delaney, got it wide. Defence has been very good. Hurley goes in. Feed out back to Delaney. Comes back to Hurley. They're raffling it down there. Here's Brophy. He's had a number of important touches. It goes to the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in. Left half forward for the Demons. They go left of screen with a 3-goal breeze at their back.
South have got to make the most of this now. One man down. Got to get a couple of goals on the board before quarter time.
Just reminding you, North Gambier winning the thirds and Portland winning the seconds over South Gambier. Here's Vaughan, given wide. Hurley, left foot kick, spirals into the breeze. Ryan from behind, who are 4-1.
Players,
they all flew, Stephen, as you called it. Here's Glenn, looking for Mullen, cut off by Keane. He's cutting Mullen up, Keane. Here's Vaughan, he's cutting whoever he's on. Goes forward. Edmonds has a mile. If it sits for Mickey, over the top he goes. Templeton will go at an open goal, and Imperials get their third.
One man down. Imperials have still got loose players. That man, Mick Edmonds, then out in his own.
Ran onto it, gave it over the top to Templeton, and Templeton walked into an open goal and put the third on the board. 3-1-19, the Imperials Bulldogs. The South Gambier Demons trail it 2 goals straight.
Peter Sims got a few worries at the moment. Of course, with Imperials one man down, kicking with the breeze they are, and they're now 7 points down.
We'll go down to Marty Foster. We'll get a comment from Marty. He's sensing all the action on the bench. And of course, Marty Foster doing the boundary riding for us this afternoon. Marty, are you down there? We'll go to Marty Foster. What's the feeling, Marty, in the South Gambier camp?
Yeah, Peter Sims is a bit concerned, Jim. He's especially asked Mick Mullen to man up on Wayne Riddle. Wayne's tending to drift into the forward line, and he's asked Mick to keep closer tabs on Wayne Riddle, Jim.
Thank you, Marty. Go down to Marty again as the afternoon progresses. Kick from Paddy O'Donnell is long. Sims sits underneath it. Good defensive stuff by Hurley. He'll take it towards the boundary line. Can they get out of this? Chopped off almost by number 19, Adam Salmon. It'll be forced over the boundary line, and boundary umpire Wilson will put it back into play. Andrew Wilson to bring us back into play. The two fields, Magira and Farley. The ruck contest, Sims against Walker. Vaughan had a lot of touches. Vaughan goes nowhere in that exchange, and we'll have another bounce. Number 14 on screen, Mickey Edmonds. He'd be happy with this against the breeze. Number 16 on screen is Jason Hann. Number 12 in the foreground, Michael Sims. Magira gets us underway. To ground, trying to read it through that time South. They lock it into the boundary line. Porter was there. Steer got a handball on that one. And over the boundary line, it goes defensively for the Imperial side. 3-1-19, the Bulldogs. The D's are 2 goals straight, 12. They have the breeze at their back. A big start by the Imperial side. Ryan goes with Walker. Vaughan got a fist on it. There's Edmonds. The hand pass wide to Lang. And over the boundary line it goes again. I'd be quite happy with that, Steve.
Yes, they would, Jim. Imperials just seem to have that extra player. Even though they're one down, they've got the extra player there backing them up. If they get in trouble, they're shooting the handball backwards, which is getting them out of trouble and keeping them in the game.
Walker goes high on Ryan, who's down that forward line. Beautiful play by Edmonds. The ball given wide to Hurley. He'll run it towards the wing. One-on-one contest. Brophy doing very well on Michael Sims. That's a move they might have to look at. Boots it wide. Defensively out here, it will be David Chant. He's happy to see it over. And it'll be a throw in again. The matchup, Brophy on Sims.
Yeah, key matchup on the wings, of course. Young Michael Sims, only a youngster. He may have a few nerves early. He'll just have to pick his game up, tighten up a bit. I'm sure he'll pick up a little bit more.
Vaughan went without it in the tackle. Someone pulled off the ball. The free kick will be given. And number 22, big man, Colin Riddle, the ruckman for the Doggies. Sending them forward inside 50. Looking for Keane, went one-handed. Well-read Fear. Got the hand pass off to Glenn. Defensive stuff for the Demons when they should be attacking. Glenn forced to go wide. Harris in front of Lang, and he earns a free kick. The Ox, Kevin Harris, already has one. Kicks in short, Prosperi Porter. Renato needs a bit of a lift.
Yeah, haven't sighted him for a while, Jim.
Will go long. Breeze at his back. Inside 50. Walker in front. Good mark by Bud Walker. On the fly, left foot chip is good, and he finds Lang. In front of the scoreboard, outer side of Vansittart Park. You're on 8 Sports. You're on the Western Border League Grand Final for 95. Chip away in short to number 12, Michael Steer. Raking right foot kick is Steer. Giving Duncan McGregor a bit of a workover too, Stephen.
A few of the South Stars are a bit quiet at the moment, Jim. Imperials are doing an excellent job of blanking them.
O'Donnell went without it. The ball came out from Cranage. The kick goes forward, sitting underneath it. Good defensive stuff by the Demons. Sims boots it long towards half forward. Remember, the Imps are playing one short because Jason Muldoon sent from the ground, yellow carded at the 15-minute mark. Ottawa works inside. Loose man here. Chart can't grab it. Hand, in fact, it was. They work it back through Delaney. Quinn. Long kick from Quinn. Over the wing to Riddle. Riddle wants to play on. He's going to be in trouble. He finally gets a kick. Not a good one. Chips in short. Chart got a fist on it. He was taken high by Vaughan, and it will be a free kick to David Chant. No 50. Defensively, David Chant on this grandstand centre wing. The Demons to the left with the breeze. Glynn. Capewell runs to his right. Receives now. Inside Riddle. Capewell from the centre. Over the 50-metre line, but he's forced wide. Salmon, Harris. Harvey, back to Harris. Harris from 45, boots on that northern goal, but he's offline, and Kevin Harris has 1-1 this afternoon. 2-1, 13 South, 3-1, 13 the Bulldogs.
Jim, Imperials' defence is holding up extremely well. It's rebounding most of the South attacks. They're punching the ball from behind. They're running the ball out in numbers, but they're basically playing South at their own game. South haven't been allowed to do that. They haven't had the run off the half-back flanks like they usually do.
Well, they have the runners, Steve, as we said, who can match up very well against the Demons.
Yes, that's certainly right,
That's as it's proving. Kicked wide by number 21, Garen Fisher. Number 4, Bernie Porter. This is Cranich. His father captain coached the Hamilton Magpies side. Inside 50. They won the premiership in 81 in the replay. And young Ben's out there for Imps this afternoon. Booted wide by Glynn. It is on the full. And are a bit sloppy at the minute are the Demons.
Skills are just letting them down a bit. Imperials have settled down just slightly better, and they're hitting their targets, which is making all the difference at the moment.
Edmonds alone and unattended in the centre. He'll go right. Now, yeah, we still go right, forced to. Gets it to Brophy, a lot of touches. Goes inside Steer. In fact, it was Porter. Porter along to the goal square. Sims from behind. Good grab by the youngster. You're
Darren
a big rap for
in
him.
the ruck. Yes, he's in the ruck at the moment. Mick Ryan's gone down to the goal square.
Boots wide, Matthew Fear. Run down, not a good kick. South need to tidy up. They'll do it through maybe Harvey out there. In fact, it was Michael Sims. Hand pass wide, Harris. He's giving them some run. After him was Lang, but Harris got a kick on that northern goal. I don't think it'll matter. There'll be a free kick downfield if it wasn't. It's gone through from Kevin Harris. That's his second. And Kevin Harris levels the scoreline for the Demons, who have the breeze at the 29-minute mark of the first quarter.
Kevin Harris is probably the one that's keeping South in the game at the moment, Jim, although with the breeze in the game, level is not real good. He's kicked a couple of goals. He's been creative around the pack, so I think a few of the other players could take a look at him and just lift their game up a bit. Of course, it's only the first quarter, Jim. We've got a long way to go.
We have indeed, Stephen, and Kevin Harris has 2. Brendan Lang wearing him like a glove, but Harris got away that time and gets his second on the board. In fact, the move's been made. Number 21, Garen Fisher, is going on to Harris off the play. Here's Mickey Edmonds, the gallant leader. Great first quarter, raking left foot kick. Inside Templeton. Inside 50, sitting in front of Capewell. And Leroy tried to make up those extra metres. Couldn't do it.
Set move come off them, Jim. No one in that space. Templeton was leading even before Edmonds had kicked the ball.
And what a delivery by Mickey Edmonds.
Pinpoint.
Darren Templeton for goal number 2. It is straight through the perpendiculars.
That is an excellent kick from there, Jim. Kicking into the breeze, he was, 35 metres out. Even though directly in front with his breeze swirling around, it was a difficult kick, and he's slotted it straight through the middle. Stephen
called it. Darren Templeton gets his second. And the powerful Imperial side go to 4-1-25. The Demons are in trouble. Around 3-1-19. They've got the breeze. We're at the 30-minute mark of this, the first quarter of the Western Border League Grand Final. Stephen, shoot.
Final quarter, Jim. I'm sure Imperials would like it to be the final quarter with 5 minutes to go, being 6 points up.
Wouldn't that make it a game?
Let's hope it is like that.
Umpire Farley gets us underway. Knocked forward O'Donnell. Kicks to Brian Harris inside 50. With the breeze at his back, he may give this a nudge.
It's a big kick.
On the siren, Brian Harris is going to be about 3 metres short and to the left, and we have a quarter-time scoreline. South Gambier 3-1-19 at quarter-time. The Bulldogs, Imperials from Hamilton, 4 goals, 1-25.
Check a young fella to go and get me something to eat.
Yeah, sure. What do you want, mate?
What's his name? Caelan. Will you go and get me something to eat, please? And a drink? Can you get me a pasta with sauce and a can of Coke, please?
We hope you can support this worthwhile cause.
Why, because he's a Buckley?
You won't see him again.
Won't get the money back.
You never get change either, mate. You just don't even try.
Interesting. Got the work cut out. But they're a good side.
Yes, and they may in fact run it well. Gee, they play.
They may have tried to kick it too much. Like they've got, went away from them.
Marty, we'll go down to you. I want to know whether what Muldoon has done. What's he doing on the bench for Imps, Marty? If you can hear me.
Thanks, mate. Good on you. And change.
Well, gee, what have you got that I haven't got? Thank you. They did a good job.
That trainer down there was at East last year, the Bird. He got drunk one night at the club and made an idiot of himself and went to south. Oh, is that where that's coming from, that camera?
Yeah. Okay, stand by, Steve.
Starting to get better, I'm eating.
Good sign.
Give me a beer.
And umpire Kevin Farley starts us off. Second quarter, Imperials now to the left of screen with the breeze at their back, leading 4-1 to the Demons. 3 goals, 1. An exciting first term. Playing one short from the 15-minute mark of that second quarter. The Imperials Bulldogs outscoring the Demons to lead it by a goal at quarter time. Tony Magira bounces down. Ryan goes in. Here's moved O'Donnell. Long kick. Patrick inside 50. Sims sits underneath it. Big leap from behind by Hurley. To ground it goes. Runners wanted. Works it wide. Here's Porter. Here's Edmonds on his own again, Stephen Chute. And he runs on that left foot and kicks away towards Colin Riddle. From behind, kick by Mullen, close to the boundary line. It will go over the line defensively. And who is standing? Mickey Edmonds.
Well, it looks Paddy O'Donnell's on him, Jim. He's got to tighten up. You cannot afford to let a man of Mick Edmonds' stature to be out in his own like that. He's just going to hit a player 99 times out of 100.
It was the one time he missed out of the 100. They'd have been in trouble. The Demons had it connected. Here's a dick towards Edmonds again. Here's Porter trying to break the pack. Comes back towards Buddy Walker. Bud kicks inside 50. Glenn has the sit. And he does it well. Hand passes off quickly to Fear. Will work it down the middle. That's where they need to be, the Demons. That scoreboard side is too defensive. Big leap hand. Well read by Sims over to top Harris. Harris inside 50. Kevin Harris receives from his brother Brian Harris. And the Ox will line up for goal number 3. And into the wind, running the ball, significant.
It will be, especially for South. Jim, they are a running side. Maybe that first quarter they tried to kick the ball along a few too many times, got out of their running game a tad, but it may be just the medicine they need. They've got their work cut out, being 6 points down against the Breeze, with Imperials only having 17 players on the field, but they're a side chock full of talent, and they will come back.
And it's very interesting. I'll get you to watch it, Steve, because there are 2 loose men for South Gambier inside their defensive 50. No, in fact, there's only one. That's the one player short. So Mickey Edmonds not running anyone out loose off the half-back line as he did in the 93 grand final when they had that 14-goal quarter.
That 14-goal quarter, wasn't that the most awe-inspiring display of football that you've ever seen?
Takes a lot to match it. Porter was in front. The fear, rather Harvey's spoil was good, but Porter follows up better on the ground. Boots towards half forward. They can't mark, taken from behind by Paul Mullen. Chips away, it's not good. Mickey Edmonds cuts it off, and the captain coach is having a blinder.
Jim.
He boots left foot inside, looking for Keane, and Mullen giving Keane too much room, and you don't need a lot when Mickey Edmonds is passing the ball to you, Stephen.
No, you don't. I think Peter Sims has got to look at tagging Mick Edmonds. They can't afford to run Paddy O'Donnell with him. Paddy O'Donnell's too much of a player that likes to get out by himself. I think they've just got to look at tagging Mick Edmonds.
Number 3 on screen, Shane Keane already has got 1 goal. He was the under-21 Western Border League Player of the Year. The big crowd, watch Keane inside 50. And it'll drift across the face, left to right. Big marks wanted, and it is Mick Ryan back there to Leroy Capewell. He comes outside defensive 50 to Mullen. Mullen hand pass to Harvey. Harvey will be run down. He is by Porter. Holding the ball, says Tony Magira. And the crowd agree, especially the red, white and blue. And Bernie Porter will put the Bulldogs back inside the attacking 50. They lead by 5 points. We're underway in the second. Big kick, Porter. In front was Riddle, to ground Vaughan. In fact, Cranage left-footed was. He'll kick wide, and it will be on the full. And a free kick to Wayne Glynn.
Perhaps a lack of talk out there from South with Grant Harvey getting run down from behind. That just shouldn't happen, Jim. Your teammate should be telling you what's going on. Most
unlike South Gambier, Glynn to centre-half back. And he finds Matty Fear. Strong hands of Matty Fear. Does a lot of weight work. Strong upper body, Fear, delightful left foot kick, beautifully placed to Sims. Sims comes on the right foot, chips it to McGregor. Duncan needs a lift. Chips away on that left foot for the running player, Han. Han has room on Quinn. The chip is high. Gee, that's putting players under pressure. That wasn't good. Getting back, Cranage, hand pass came to Edmonds. He runs off that defensive 50 on the left foot. Over the centre square in front was Bud Walker to ground to Wayne Riddle. Riddle to the goal square. Leroy, where are you? There you are. And he takes a defensive mark. And what's happened here? Leroy has given someone, I think it was Shane Keane, a little bit of a touch-up. Tony Magira reports Lee Capewell. And a certain goal coming up from Imps, for Imps, when South Gambier are actually clearing the football. Stephen,
yes,
shoot.
They were all out on their own. Then Jim, I didn't actually see it. I don't know whether you did, but the play went down hard. Lee Capewell has been sent off.
And that evens it up.
Yellow card, I think. The thing is, though, Imperials, Muldoon will be back on soon. And without Lee Capewell, you know, he is an important member of the South Side. It's twofold that.
Well,
that lack of discipline, Jim.
A double whammy. They turn the ball over, will cost them a goal, Steve, and they lose Capewell.
They were running out more, and also they were running the ball out. You know, they had the players there.
Yep.
Could have turned into a goal. Could be a 12-point turnaround plus the loss of Lee Capewell.
Shane Keane puts the goal through, and suddenly the scoreline reading in favour of Imperials 5-1-31, South Gambier 3-5-20. They're both back to 17, but soon Imps will leave, even the ledger up when Jason Muldoon comes back on the ground. Well, Lee Capewell sent off for the second time in 2 grand finals.
That's right, Jim. I was just about to say the same thing. He got sent off early last year.
We'll go down to Marty Foster. Marty, he can tell us how the feeling is from Peter Sims on that particular play from the big fullback. We'll go to Marty. Marty, how is it down there? Peter Sims would obviously not be happy with that.
Yes, Jim, no great reaction from Peter Sims. He's pretty quiet about the whole thing, but it looks like he's preparing to get Mark Lane on the ground.
The kick comes in from Cranage from behind. Chant does defensively very well. And under siege, the Demons tied up in the back left forward pocket. 3-2-20 to 5-1-31. It's an 11-point lead to the 1993 winners, Imperials.
Jim, I'd say Peter Sims would be very disappointed in that. He's a coach, you know, that is high on discipline, and for a player of Lee Capewell's stature to do something like that, whether, you know, he got caught, whether he was unlucky or not, I'd say Peter Sims would be very disappointed.
Harvey comes off, Mark Lane comes on, 24 on screen.
Mark Lane, very talented player, skills, exceptional skills. Bit surprised they took Grant Harvey off. He's been given a few jobs to do. The players he's gone on have been quietened, but We're not the coach, Jim, are we?
We're not the coach indeed, Stephen. It's easier from up here. The ball scrambled over by Matty Fear. Throw in again. Deep in attack for the Doggies. They lead it by 11 points. High ball. Ryan against Walker. To ground. O'Donnell. He works hard. Vaughan went with the feet. Prospery Porter from Ryan. He'll break loose. Outside the defensive 50, but it's on the full, and a sign of the time for South Gambier. Nothing going well. Porter plays on. Long ball to the square. Who's there for Imperials from behind? The punch defensively from both, I think, Chant and Glynn. And it's through for one behind. And Imps lead it by 2 straight goals, Stephen.
That wind must be playing a bit of creating a bit of havoc down there for some of the players kicking. You don't very often see the skilled players of South missing their target like that.
We're at the 7-minute mark, and Mickey Edmonds inside 50. Gee whiz, from there, he'll give this a big ride, Stephen.
Jim, I remember vividly in the grand final, the year they won it.
93.
In 93, he kicked a magnificent goal from the exact spot, faked one way, balked, and slotted it through.
It's a magnificent kick from Edmonds off the left foot, just to the left. It's through for a behind. No, play on. No, the call is a behind. Gee whiz, he gave that a ride from outside 50. Breeze at his back. The left footer superb, but just offline. Glynn kicks wide, can't take it, and South Gambier turn it over again. 5-2, 3-2, it's the Doggies, they lead the D's, and we're at almost the 9-minute mark of this, the second quarter. Western Border League Grand Final on your local station, Channel 8 from Vansittart Park. Ryan took it out of the air, got it towards Brian Harris. He couldn't take it with him. Ryan on hands and knees, the big fella. Finally worked clear by Patrick O'Donnell, who's had a bit of a lift in this quarter. Chips it wide, looking for Mark Lane. Hurley, rather, is on him. It's Delaney, in fact. Lane butters up very well. To the boundary line it goes. It's still in play. Brian Harris, the tap on. Prospery Porter through the centre. Renato kicks high, very high towards centre-half forward. Kevin Harris has got the sit underneath it. Very good spoil by Garen Fisher. It goes to Mullen. Mullen chips towards 19 Salmon, a long way from full forward. Beautiful pick up that time by Fisher again towards Mullen. Mullen to Salmon to McGregor on the favoured left foot. Boots inside 50. Here's Brian Harris sitting underneath one. Good move south. Harris chipping across ground. Who's on this one? Big leap from behind. Almost a mark to Chant. In fact, it was Han. Comes to Vaughan. Vaughan back in the direction this time of Brophy. Brophy on the outer wing. Chips to Cranage inside. Well, on that centre wing on the scoreboard side, he boots inside 50 this time. Fear is well and truly behind his opponent, lucky not to give away a free kick. Ball to Edmonds. Edmonds chips inside 50. Glynn's back there. Juggling mark not held. Riddle goes in hard. He's pushed in the back. Very crudely by Matty Fear. Play's allowed to go on. Keane will kick his third, and Imps are on a roll.
They certainly are, Jim. Ball coming down. The South defences are under a bit of pressure. It's under siege, actually, from the Imperials side. They're running the ball down very well. I think South have just got to man up a little bit better. The players, Imperials players, are getting too free, getting the ball too often. Even though they're on them, they're sometimes, 3 or 4 metres behind them, and you just got to be right on these players of this skill level. Imperials have done it.
Porter, Steele, Edmonds and Cranage are cutting them apart. And the tagger is now on. I reckon the tag, Attawell has gone on to tag Edmonds.
Yep.
In the centre. Ross Prospery Porter's there. O'Donnell is still there. And they trail at 3-2, 6-3. 19 points. It's the Doggies. And they lead the D's. And we're going to the 10-minute mark of the second quarter. From the knockout. Imps bring it forward. Edmonds, what a game he's having. Delightful kick to Riddle. And Wayne Riddle, who was offended against, allowing Keane to get the last goal or kick from outside 50. He'll go to the square. The wind gives it a big ride. From behind, almost Imps. To ground, Cranage. The impossible goal from Cranage. Has he kicked it, Stephen? Choot! He has!
What a ripper, Jim.
Holy
That's a
dolly.
great goal. That's a great goal.
Benny Cranage.
That nearly matched Kevin Harris's in the first quarter.
Cranage gets his first, and it's ominous signs. It was a 14-goal second quarter by Imperials in 93, Stephen. They've started very well in this one. They've got the first three. 3-2-20, South Gambier 7-3-39, rather Imperials 7-3, lead South Gambier, I'll get it right, Steve, 3 goals, 2.
South will be a bit shell-shocked at the moment. Lost 1 game for the year. They've come in and Imperials have hit them with everything they've got and have broken out to a 20-point lead.
We'll go down to Marty Foster. He'll have something to tell us about Peter Sims' reaction to the opening of the second quarter, where Imperials have kicked the first 3 goals. O'Donnell runs hard at a player, and it was high. And Paddy O'Donnell offends, and the free kick will go to Imps. They'll take the ball out of the centre through number 12, Michael Steer. He boots it wide on this grandstand side. On his own is Brendan Lang, and the discipline has deserted South. The hand pass is to Fisher. Fisher chips away to Keane, and Keane is cutting Mullen up. He boots on the right foot back towards that goal square. In front we want players from behind, almost Walker. To the ground it goes. Sims there to tidy up, harassed by Cranage. Here's Brian Harris in defence. On the right foot towards that the scoreboard side. Prosperi Porter overran it. Back to Vaughan. Vaughan across to Edmonds. Look out. Mickey on the left foot, boots on that Northern goal, and he's got it again, the captain coach.
I reckon Mick Evans wasn't happy about that. He's come back to the centre of the ground, pumping his fist. He's really pumped up for this game.
And they've got to tag him, Stephen.
Oh.
They have got to tag number 14, and there's a shot of the Imperials fans. They are delirious. There's the captain coach, the big pump with the fist, and Imps are looking good. They're 8-3, South Gambier in trouble, 3-2.
Someone's got to sacrifice their game, Jim, and just stick with Mick Edmonds. Just become a blanket, just cut him out of the game completely.
Well, they've given a youngster Adderwell the task, Stephen. Your comment on that?
Well, has he? Adderwell's not standing beside him at the moment. Well, he is now.
Ryan goes hard against that player in Walker. It goes to ground. Harris is trying to lift. That's Brian Harris. There's the young man in question. Burrows in. The ball's given away to Walker. Gee, they turn it over again, South Gambier, as they go forward. The doggies into that right forward pocket on the half-forward flank. In fact, the throw-in will take place. 4 goals to start the second quarter with inside the first 15 minutes to the Bulldogs, and they look the goods in the 95 grand final here at Vansittart Park. You're watching on 8 Sport, and the doggies are turning on an exhibition. In the pack, they go over the top. Number 62's in there, Paul Aaron for the Imperial side, and the Dogs tied up inside their attacking 50. Tony McGear to get us underway again.
South on ballers have just got to lift, Jim. Guys like Prosperi Porter, McGregor, O'Donnell, they just have not getting enough of the ball. I know it's easy, you know, to sit here and say that. It's a lot harder out in the ground, but they've got to do it.
Do you think coming through the preliminary finals, Stephen, has perhaps aided the Imperial side as South go forward? We'll get Stephen to comment in a minute. Mark Lane on a big offensive run, chips in short to Salmon, and Salmon will probably have his first kick of the game, and he gets it almost at the 15-minute mark of the second quarter, and the leading goal kicker in the competition for 95 has his first shot on goal.
Be a difficult, very difficult shot from here, Jim, on the angle, into this breeze. I think Salmon may be playing in a pocket up the field or on a flank at the moment.
Yes, I think they did move him, Stephen. Adam Salmon on that southern goal is a very good kick from Salmon. And just what the doctor ordered for the Demons. They get their 4th. They go to 4-2, Imperials are 8-3, 51. Number 19 on screen. Here's a shot of the big crowd. And it is a big crowd at Vansittart Park for the Western Border League Grand Final. The Demons trail it by 25 points.
That just may lift South a bit, just may be the tonic they needed. Although I noticed when the goal was kicked, the South side didn't seem that enthused or excited. I mean, you know, they've got to get around and rally around the players who do something good, get a bit of spirit back into the side.
McKay comes on for Imperials, and number 17, Timmy Delaney, goes to the bench. The Southerners again. Mark Lane, he started that forward move previously. The ball comes loose. Picked up on defensive stuff by Hurley. Back on the left foot, and Imps running to the one out here. Porter has it. A hand pass towards Riddle. Riddle will give it a steer. No, yes, he does now. The hand pass comes on, cut off beautifully by Mullen. That was danger time for South Gambier, but they stood tall. Here's Mick Ryan, the ball towards the boundary line. Ryan kept it in. O'Donnell went without it. Should have gone at the footy, Patrick. Here's Riddle, long to half forward, sitting underneath it. And a good strong mark by Steer. No, in fact, it's not Steer, it's Aaron. He went for the hand pass and put his own player in, Porter under pressure, and the Demons escape. The kick by Harris in towards Adderwell. Adderwell goes a long hand pass to nobody. Here's a chance for Lang, cut off by Lane. Sims towards Adderwell. They turn it over again, the Demons. And in the centre of the ground, a trip, and it will be an Imps ball.
This is most un-South-like, Jim. I've never seen a South side like this that has lost the ball so many times.
Well, OK, the Imperials came through the preliminary final. To South perhaps lacking a game or two?
I don't think so, Jim. I mean, you can argue till you're black and blue in the face. You know, people say a rest is always good. Although South have only played, as Vaughan lines up, he's just offside, I think.
To the left, Stephen.
To the left, he's missed. Yes. South have only played 1 game in 4 weeks. It depends, you know, if the side's got injuries, well, it always helps. You know, you get a tough preliminary final, or the side comes in you know, overdone sort of thing, comes in with sore spots. So it's a 50-50 thing. I mean, Imperials had a pretty easy win, which I think may have helped them. It may have given that edge, that game edge, like you say.
In front, the mark taken by number 14. He happens to be the captain, coach, and probably best man on the ground, Stephen.
Oh, by far at the moment, Jim. He's just cutting South to ribbons. Absolutely pieces, and he should. I'd nearly back him in from here.
8-4, foot 2, and Mickey Edmonds about to kick his second, and he'll kick the 5th of the quarter for the 93 premiers against the reigning premiers. Advance to the park. Mickey Edmonds inside 50, distance no problem. Delightful off the boot, but just drifting left with the breeze. Offline, and South escape again.
Pushed it to the left slightly.
Kicking action of Mickey Edmonds on screen with hands on hips. Paddy O'Donnell will kick this ball in. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Lee Capewell is off the ground. He was yellow carded. Kick
Wayne
in,
Riddle.
Uncontested.
Wayne Riddle's starting to pick up a lot of kicks now, Jim.
And boy, can he kick.
He
Delightful off the boot, raking kick to the front of the square. South good in defence down there. They don't take it cleanly. Here's Keane, all right. He got it to Templeton. Impossible angle. Templeton tries to screw it back. And just on the line, Wayne Glynn.
Excellent work by Wayne Glynn then. Desperation stuff, which is what South need at the moment. They need someone to lift, to, you know, to give them that buzz, to get them going again on the ground.
They're under siege, the Demons.
Paul Mullen's been taken off.
Coming on, number 40, Robbie Hodges. Kick in by O'Donnell. Edmonds! Oh, Stephen.
Second time lucky, Jim.
Oh.
Exactly the same spot, just about.
The matchup is all wrong. It is too big an ask for Attawell to be minding this man. The kid's going to have his confidence absolutely destroyed.
Oh,
Edmonds chips in short, unattended. Number 12, Michael Steer. Well, he's either on a wing or a half-forward flank, and he's marked it inside 50.
Just bad matching up by South at the moment. You can't, you know, they relaxed then. Everyone obviously thought that Mick Edmonds was going to shoot the ball. Steers dropped in, got a shot from directly in front.
Goal. He's kicked a goal, all right, as Michael Steer.
Costly mistake.
9 goals, 5 as Stephen Chute calls it a costly blue by the Demons. 9-5-59, South Gambier 4-2-26, and the Imperial side full of running. They get their 5th. We're at the 20-minute mark of the second.
You just cannot let a side like Imperials run free. South have just got to man up that, you know, they've got to tighten up. Like I said before, they need a lift from their on-ballers. But, you know, Imperials are just running the ball down, and South aren't used to it. They've never been under siege like this before in a game.
Terrific stuff by the Doggies as they work it forward again through number 34, Cameron Mackay. A big lead from Keane, almost a specky. To ground it goes, no one can gather. Here's O'Donnell, he'll run from defensive 50, and he can run. Works inside nicely on that left foot. Driving wide, looking for Sims, but sitting underneath it out there. Cameron Mackay for the Dogs.
Defence has been superb for him.
Kicks it towards that 50-metre line. Ball rolling towards the boundary on the scoreboard side. 4-2-26 South Gambier. 9-5-59 are the Dogs, the Imperial Bulldogs, leading the Demons. Ryan Walker to ground. Walker got second attempt. Here's Brian Harris. The on-ballers for South Gambier rather needing to lift. The punch from behind, very good from Cameron Mackay. Just come on the ground, but been significant, Steve.
Yeah, he has. He's had a few touches early, a few marks, punching the ball away.
Umpire puts us back in. Andrew Wilson, the big long throw in. Behind, it's all Imperials, working it very well through Vaughan. He's towards Porter, needs a good bounce and gets it. Not quite. Harris got it. Right foot kick towards his brother Kevin Harris, who works something from here. He'll need a miracle. The ball's not good to him. It bounces away to Fisher. Back to Kevin Harris, looking for Duncan McGregor. The two veterans together. Caught on his right foot. McGregor had to come back
what
left
a tackle, Jim.
and run down by Fisher because he couldn't go right foot. The chip away is good, and the mark has been taken by Steer, who kicked the last goal. Michael Steer driving forward. Mickey Edmonds. And he'll have to go back and take the kick because it was a mark, Stephen.
It was a mark, Jim. Mick Edmonds again. How many touches? I'd like to have the stats on this quarter for Mick Edmonds.
He's
been everywhere.
Kicks. No, he goes around Attawell. Gee whiz, that was on.
Oh.
Wobbly old kick. He went for the big screwy from outside and the ball bounces. Luckily for South Gambier, and Mick's not happy with that. There he is on screen. The captain coach, number 14. Big second quarter. They've kicked 5-1 in this, the second, the Bulldogs. Andrew Wilson puts us back into play that time. It goes to the ground, almost a chance for Aaron. Here's Keane, tap the Porter, brilliant. Porter, right foot, hooks it back. Glynn's in front and defensively does it well in front of Darren Templeton. On the fly, Wayne Glynn trying to create something, have to do something. Here's Mullen to Glynn. Good running by the big fella. The kick is a shocker. Mackay went at it. The bounce to Lane. Lane to Prospery. Porter's good vision. Renato gives it on to Duncan. Duncan back to Mark Lane. The kick from Lane is chipped high. Nobody at home for the Demons. And Kevin Quing wraps the big arms around him and says, ball, you're mine.
A bit better build-up then by South, Jim. They had the players running through the middle. Unfortunately, they couldn't hit the target down forward.
Riddle, right foot. Big leap Templeton, in front O'Donnell, not paid. Porter was the running side player. They've had plenty of them this afternoon. Coming hard at him, Ryan. Chant goes back in defence. The ball is over. And boundary umpire Wilson will again bring us back in.
Mick Ryan's another one that's got to lift a bit in too. He, haven't sighted him much, only at the tap-ins. He's got to lift his work rate, get a few kicks around the ground. He's such a vital cog to the south side there. You know, they run off him.
About 17 South players need to do the same, Stephen. Paddy O'Donnell went without it. Vaughan was able almost to take it off him. Free kick to steer, no, got the hand pass away. Here's Porter on the receive. Left foot kick after the hand pass from Walker is toward the square, sitting underneath it, Chant. Good mark, in fact, back there, David Chant.
Jim, move I'd like to see is Kevin Harris onto the ball for South. He's, you know, such a good player. He's been wasted, you know, the ball's not getting down to the forward line. I'd like to see him up on the ball and, you know, bust the packs open through the middle of the ground.
Short kick is intercepted that time and they run it out of there. Good defensive stuff by Hodges. Hodges goes through the centre to a Darren Sims. That's good play. Working inside Michael Sims. The good kick is going to go wider. It'll go to the lane. Mark something of this. Mark makes something of this. Went inside to McGregor. Caught on that left foot again. The kick is poor. Mackay goes over the top. Colin Riddle uses his body. The hand pass wide from Lang. And Imps work it wide to Porter. The bounce is cruel. No, it's not. Riddle will get it for Imperials. Lane runs him down. Here's a chance for Han. Caught by Porter, very slow. Lane is caught high. No holding the ball, says Tony Magira. And they're allowed to play on. No, it'll come back.
Thought that may have been a bit high, that tackle, Jim.
Ooh, from our angle, I think Tony Magira was on the other side, in fairness, Stephen, so perhaps he didn't see the arms slip up.
Although I think it might have evened up because I reckon Jason Hand, he got tackled and just let the ball go, so he may have been a tad lucky on that one too.
Maybe a good call by Tony Magira after all. Colin Riddle, 9-5 his team, 4-2 the Demons, and he chips in short and finds Bernie Porter. Porter, right foot kick, under harassment from Prospery Porter. From behind, Keane has run into an open goal and shut the gate.
How many's that for Keane now, Jim?
4 to Shane Keane. He read it from behind. And again, the South Gambier defence in disarray. The long-haired Keane gets his 4th.
It was good play then, Jim. He just gave his opponent just a slight nudge as the ball was coming in, got him off balance and read the ball well. Ball come over the back of the pack and he walked in for the easiest of goals. He's playing very well.
10-5, the 4-2. We've got a blowout, but believe me, folks, we didn't predict it this way.
No, I think most people, Jim, if they predicted a blowout, it would have been the other way. They thought, you know, most of the experts around town would have thought that South would have won, or, you know, of course the game's not over yet, but have thought South would have blown Imperials apart, if anything. 25-minute mark of this, the second quarter, and we have a runaway. The Imperials Bulldogs have kicked 6 in the second to 1 by South Gambier, and they lead it convincingly 10-5 to 4-2. Free kick will be given. It'll go Imp's way again, and Brendan Lang, who's been a very good player all year. The side movement is good. Imperials do that very well.
The kick from Fisher. Long in front is Cranich. Is good in the air is Ben Cranich. And it is a one-way contest at the minute. Inside 50, big grab, Walker. And we'll find out, Stephen, how good a kick is Bud Walker. Capewell is back on for the Demons.
Oh, that'll be a help to him, Jim. 18 against 18 again, but Imperials are just running high on confidence at the moment. Anything they do is coming off. They've got the players in the right spot. And, of course, for South, the complete opposite. Nothing's working for them. Handballs are going astray, kicks are going astray. But I'm sure they'll lift. I mean, they're the premiers. They're the reigning premiers. They lost one game for the year. They'll lift.
In the goal square, kick from Cranich, wobbles towards goal. Has he put it through? Touched off the boots. And the umpire makes the call. And the Demons fans, Stephen Chute, go, thank goodness. Or something.
Another goal at that stage would...
They're in trouble, though, Stephen. This is one-way traffic at the minute.
Yeah, it is certainly, Jim.
Lee Capewell back on the ground. Shortly to Marty Foster. He'll have an impression from the South Gambier bench. They're under siege. The ball to ground. Imps trying to tidy up. Glynn puts a tackle in. Edmonds went down. Going hard after the ball south as they work into the boundary line. And we have a throw in to Marty Foster. I think Marty's down there. Marty, the Demons, what are they saying on the bench?
Yes, Jim, there's a lot of very long faces down here. Obviously, a lot of very happy people down here. Peter Sims is still searching for answers.
Mark Lane, Duncan McGregor, Darren Sims as the Demons try to build something in the dying moments of the second quarter. We're well inside 25 as Sims on right foot, inside 50. Brian Harris on the lead, and he has the mark. 45 from goal. It will need to be a very good kick into the breeze. Sets it on its way. Flyers wanted his brothers down there. Big punch from behind by the defending side. Number 10 got it. Scotty Herman hasn't had to do a lot this afternoon, but when needed, as on that occasion, Herman very good.
That's right. Their defence has been playing very well when the ball's been down there, Jim. Getting a lot of rebound out of their back line.
The two big fellows, Walker and Sims, the youngsters, to ground. Kick by Adam Salmon. Clever block by Porter, maybe in the end. Vaughan back in support. There's Porter. Right foot kick to that defensive outer side in front of the scoreboard. Bounces wide. Runners wanted. Taken beautifully by Brophy. Brophy chips away delightfully to Aaron. And Aaron's marked in front of Hodges. Aaron, long kick. Inside 50. Riddle has got front position. Good spoil Mullen. To ground it comes. Tapped it on nicely to Fear to Ryan as good play. Ryan gave it away too quickly. South under siege, it was Paul Mullen. Capewell to McGregor. The kicks, gee, Duncan has kicked very poorly today, Stephen.
He certainly has, but he's not a loner there, Jim. He's got a few friends out there the same way.
Edmonds doesn't turn it over, gave it beautifully to Riddle. Have a look at this. The movement
Players
to
everywhere.
Cranage, superb. In the pocket on his own is Colin Riddle. Glynn
Well
just
done,
gets
Glynn.
there. Great defensive work. Here's a chance for Steer. He's hard up the boundary. The kick's not good. And the left foot snap way offline. And the Demons will bring it back in at the 29-minute mark of the second. And they trail it 10-6 to 4-2.
You know, Jim, we're saying that, you know, the South skills are down a bit, which is, of course, abnormal, but I think we can attribute a bit of that to, or a lot of it, to the pressure that Imperials are putting on their on-brawlers and their prime movers like Duncan McGregor. Every time Duncan's got the ball, there's been a player right on his hammer, putting pressure on him, tackling him. You know, so I think we've got to pay a bit of credit to Imperials there.
Great work by Riddle that time to tell Porter he was clear. The kick comes back in towards centre-half forward. Defensively, they want something here to Demons. Hodges, scrubby kick towards the scoreboard outer wing. Here's the man on his own, number 61 out there in Brophy. The kick is poor from him. Cut off by Outerwall. It was meant for Edmonds. The kick wide towards Sims. Gee, Demons, you need to do something. And they can't do it as the ball over the boundary line it goes. Number 11, Dale Hurley, right with Darren Sims, and the throw in to take place. Scoreboard side with the Bulldogs leading 10-6 to 4-2. Coming on to half-time, McGregor out of the air, Sims eventually, Kevin Harris, the man wanted on the ball by Stephen Chute, to the boundary line it goes, and Mackay is happy to see it go over in front of Brian Harris. Just nothing happening for South, Stephen.
Nothing's going right for him, Jim, at the moment. I think they've just got to persevere, you know, get in at half-time, regroup. I mean, like I've said, they're a talented side. You know, they will come back.
This will be a test of Peter Sims' coaching ability now as his Demons trail by 6 goals for 40 points they trail by, and we're at the 30-minute mark of the first half. The second quarter of the first half, Stephen, rather, about to end.
Yep, that's a big margin, Jim, to pull back. But, you know, the coach is only as good as the players he's got out there too.
Most definitely.
He can make the moves, but the players have got to want to do it.
Edmonds took it out of the air, got a hand pass away. It went to Fisher. Loose man, Porter. He will run out of the centre and kick long towards Riddle, who takes a very good running mark, and he's off. He'll bring it back inside on the right foot. The chip away towards centre-half back. He wants Templeton. Muldoon came out. It came to ground. Matthew Fear tidies up for the Demons. On half-time, the scoreboard in the Western Border League Grand Final for 95. South 4-2-26. A big 6-goal quarter to Imperials. 10-6, 66.
It'll come good. Yeah, it's on. Mullen's back on.
Mullen is back on as Stephen Chute gets us underway in the second half. The Demons have it all to do. Peter Sims not happy at half-time, trailing 4-2 to 10-7. The reigning champs about to lose the title unless they can turn it around very quickly. They are into attack in this, the third quarter. The hand pass comes quickly out. Falling over it was Harvey. Going after it that time, Brian Harris. He's run down to the boundary line it goes, and it'll be forced over deep on attack for what will be a very big third quarter, Stephen Chute, for the South Gambier side.
Yes, well, it will, Jim. They need a big lift from every player out on the field. It's a big ask. I mean, they're 40 points down. In a grand final, it's a big ask to come back from there against a side like Imperials. But you went into the rooms for South, Jim?
I did.
What was the
Peter
feeling
Sims
like?
was not happy. The heads were hung. He named a few players. I won't mention those on air, but he did ask the question of a couple of senior boys too, Stephen. I must say the response, well, we'll wait and see it out on the track in this third quarter. But Peter Sims not a happy man, but he still had faith that they could turn it around, Steve.
Well, I think he's justified in that. I mean, they're a good side. They're the reigning premiers. They're not going to lie down easily. They're going to come out full of fire. I noticed right at the start of that game, Richard Adderwell of that half, Richard Adderwell on Mickey Edmonds was giving him a bit of a touch up. So South might come out that little bit harder, that little bit tougher and tighter, and make this a good game.
Well, they'll need to. It's in the forward line at the minute for Imperials, but they turn it over. Keen's hand pass wide. Harvey is in front of Quinn and Marks. Now, will the factor that Imperials had to play the hard finals games to get to the grand final be telling in the end? Or are they just match conditioned and ready to run on with it? Here's Edmonds from Porter. The handball is wide of Cranage. Going back in defence, and Cranage gives away a free kick that time, and it'll be taken nicely back there by South Gambier's David Chant. The run to Ryan. Ryan boots wide. Prospery Porter in space around Mackay towards attacking 50 from behind. A lovely grab by Dale Hurley. Feeds it off beautifully to that player number 10, Scotty Herman. And Herman into the centre to Vaughan. Vaughan goes long inside, attacking 50. Big leap, Keane, but he was behind. And I think Glenn will be paid the grab.
Yeah, man in front there, Jim. Still a mighty leap by Keane.
He's already kicked for Keane. Wide to Ryan. Cranage is after him. Chip away by Ryan is good. Prospery Porter perhaps playing on a flank. Renato hasn't been dominant today. Long towards attacking 50 from behind again. Herman went over the back of him. Sims is in there. Hand pass suspicious. Comes to the boundary line. O'Donnell's grabbed and finally be thrown in. In fact, a free kick will go the way of South Gambier. Interesting.
I didn't see that one, Jim.
And Patrick O'Donnell.
Kevin Harris is playing at full forward now for South, Jim. Makes me wonder a little bit. They got the leading goal kicker. I'd have him there. Yep, playing on a flank.
Just not getting the ball to him, Stephen. Harris has kicked 2.
Oh, Harris is a good goal kicker. You know, no doubting about that, Jim, but he's also one of the best on balls in the league.
Kick from O'Donnell from way outside 50 is good. McGregor! Duncan McGregor has taken a big one in the goal square, and he's had a pretty ordinary contest up till now. And Duncan, a big grab. The athletic McGregor getting up high, number 11. And he'll open the quarter scoring for the Demons, and they need to start positively. They will off the boot of Duncan McGregor. He gets his first. The Demons get their 5th, and just the start they ordered for this, the second half. We're into the third quarter on 8 Sport. We go towards the 4-minute mark. McGregor kicks the first, and the Demons are 5-2. The Bulldogs are 10-7.
Just the start South needed, Jim. Excellent mark by Duncan McGregor, and perhaps he was one of the players that the question was asked to, Jim.
Well, Stephen, read my lips. Absolutely. But he'll respond. Tony McGarrett, the ball back in the middle. It's 10-5, rather 10-7 to 5-2. The margin, 35 points. And the Demons score the first of the second half to make it a contest. A shot of Peter Sims. A little more animated, a little bit of hope. As Ryan goes high, they have the breeze. It's worth a couple. Harvey. Hand pass wide of Lane. Worked out by Porter. In front, good grab, Fear. Hard on Cranage. The 2 youngsters wide to Glenn. They're forced wide again. His running player in Lane. He goes over the top to Adderwell, getting away from Edmonds, chipping inside 50 very poorly, and Quinn chips in and takes the mark. He's called a play on.
Not 10.
Got it across that time to Lang. Big leap too early from Lane. Interfered with Edmonds, and Mickey, who had a wealth of kicks in that first half, boots long. Attacking, Cranage went high, didn't take the mark. Falls to ground. Cranage recovered nicely, left foot kick towards Templeton, away from Capewell. The ball put inside, Porter overruns it, good defensive stuff, Ryan. The tap out to Harris, that's Brian Harris, to Matty Fear. Fear off half-back flank towards the scoreboard wing and chipping in the captain coach, who's been remarkable in his performance today, Mickey Edmonds. And maybe Stephen Chudy's last game with the Bulldogs. He's working in Warrnambool and maybe in the Hampden League in '96.
Well, that's interesting to note, Jim.
To Mullen from Glynn. They bring it towards the grandstand side. Running player Prospery Porter, but he's outreached. He needs support from Sims and Mullen. Prospery Porter, Sims, in fact, in the end. Tap out was clever. Here's McGregor, kicked the first goal at the half. Long by Duncan. Salmon front posse. Will he get a free? He will not. Hard on his back was Herman. They force it to the boundary line. Hurley and Herman, the two H's for Imperials, do it well. They tie it up outside the defensive 50 for the Bulldogs.
While we're on that rumour mill, Jim, I've heard Paul Harris is coming to Mount Gambier next year.
Ah, they'll be after him at East Gambier, no doubt, Stephen, to replace the famous half-forward flanker. Here's Kevin Harris on the burst. Long into the goal square. O'Donnell is behind. The ball may have carried. It has. The Ox has got it. Third goal to Kevin Harris, second to start the half for South Gambier, and they've kicked the only 2 goals in this third quarter, and we're at the 6-minute mark.
That'll give the side a lift, Jim. Gee, Kevin Harris looks good when he's running through that middle and kicking them goals. He just loves it.
He's got 3, Shane Keene's got 3, and Kevin Harris, number 23 on screen, Stephen, big goal.
Yeah, big goal there. That'll lift the side even more. Kevin Harris is a vital factor in this side. I still don't like him at full forward. As you've seen then, he was actually running with the ball onto and kicking the goals. But like we've said before, we're not the coach Peter Sims is. He's made that move and he's kicked a goal early in the third quarter, so that move might pay off.
Umpire Farley gets us underway again. Ryan goes hard against Riddle. The ball comes loose. Here's a chance for Brian Harris, brother of the goal kicker. In there is Steele. To ground it comes. Steer rather, not Steele. The ball's knocked on by Quinn. This is the hand pass from 61. Brophy. Here's Edmonds' right foot pass. He'll have to get in front, and he does. Cranage cut it off. It was meant for Templeton. Cranage was there. Such were the options from the right foot of Mickey Edmonds.
No, right foot. Either side he's got Mick Edmonds. Superb player, superbly skilled.
Gee, this will be a good answering goal from Cranage, the youngster. His father captain coached a Hamilton winning side in 1981 in the grand final replay. Will he play in one this afternoon for Imperials? Cranage close to the man on the mark. It's drifting right. It may have just held its line. Ben Cranage has kicked one, and in fact, he's kicked his second.
South didn't need that, Jim. They started off well with 2 goals in the opening few minutes. They didn't need that goal from Imperials then. Pushes the margin out a little bit more.
6-2, 11-7. 11 goals, 7-73, 6-2, 38. South got the first 2. Ben Cranage from the pass or the assist, Stephen, from his captain coach, Mickey Edmonds.
South have got to be within at least a couple of goals at 3/4 time to have any chance in this game, Jim.
Absolutely, if not in front. Kicking into the breeze. Kicked by Outerwills wide, and good mark by O'Donnell, and it is paid in front of Lang. He had no room for error at that time, Patrick O'Donnell, and the famous number 5, second in the middle in 94. Boots into centre half forward. It's cut off by Imps. Good defensive stuff that time by Colin Riddle, the big ruckman.
At least South had Salmon on the lead then, which is good. It was just good defensive work by Imperials with Riddle cutting in.
Wide, scoreboard defensive side. Good grab from behind, and that'll be paid to number 34, Mackay. Cameron Mackay. Into the centre of the ground. McGregor's in front from behind. Sims spoiled him. Here's Vaughan. Gee, they've crumb well, Imperials. Vaughan, right foot kick towards Cranage, who's already kicked one this half. He's got 2 for the game. The handball is astray. This allows the Demons to get off the hook.
Here's McGregor again, Jim.
The left foot is McGregor, as Stephen called it, towards Kevin Harris. Is not pinpoint. The good defensive stuff from Herman. In fact, it wasn't. It was Fisher. Quinn's tackle on Sims is superb.
They've done that
Kevin
well
Quinn
all
takes
day.
the mark.
All day, Jim. They've tackled superbly.
And Kevin just slipping one in, Stephen. And not seen by the umpire. The ball is wide on the mark, taken by Steer in front of Harris. On grandstand wing. In short, here's Brophy, makes a run at the ball. The bounce is cruel to Sims. Will be run down, just gets the kick away. Goes to Imps, they muck it up. Goes to Lane. Lane can feed off the Prospery Porter, but kicks instead to centre half forward. Salmon, or is it O'Donnell? O'Donnell went and missed it. Great defensive work, Hurley. Butters up again, does Hurley. O'Donnell will out-sprint him. Edmonds is there in support. Well done, Mick. Works inside. Mackay, right foot to scoreboard wing. Cranage has an acre. He runs inside. He boots over offensive 50, but cutting it off that time is Fear.
Poor kick by Cranage. Then he had ample time.
In fact, Mullen it was. Sorry, Stephen. He did have time. Cranage went one-handed almost. Harris read it better. Chips away, but gave it away in the end to Porter. Bernie's had a lot of touches. The right foot of Porter in short is good, and Brophy.
Imperials have just got players everywhere, Jim.
And they're controlling the football game. South Gambier need to score, and to score abundantly. They turn it over this time. Imps running off defence. His chant to kick is high. Quinn will sit underneath it with Harvey. To the back it'll go in the direction of Fisher. Fisher through, pinpoints the pass beautifully to Brophy. And the unassuming Brophy will kick it long. In fact, it's Aaron Ahern, Paul Aaron. It goes towards centre half forward. To ground it goes. Glinda Tardy up and hand pass wide, looking for Fear. It beautifully cut off by Muldoon to Vaughan. Vaughan closes on that southern goal, but he's going to miss to the right. Offline from the hand pass of Jason Muldoon was Greg Vaughan.
South may have just been a tad lucky then they didn't get a free kick awarded to them after the play with Glyn Downing Vaughan. There may not have been much in it, but it could have been paid.
Not called. Big kick in by Capewell, and look at that man Edmonds coming in from the side to take the mark. What a game he's played already. Over the top of Capewell, tidied up by Mullen. The Demons out of defence. They run. Mullen forced wide to scoreboard side, and Prosperi Porter does very well in a one-on-one duel with Mackay. Come back inboard, Renato. Don't go wide, son. He'll go up the middle. Give your forwards a chance inside 50. Harris out-manoeuvred Fisher very nicely. The Ox has got 3. He's outside 50. It's too far for him. He lets one go towards the square. Sims back with Hurley, and Sims in front does it well.
Excellent mark by Darren Sims there. Positioned his body well. Just got Hurley out of the way and took a fine grab.
Darren Sims from the right forward pocket. Hard against the boundary. Distance, not a problem. Accuracy will be tested by the angle. Chips away short to Patrick O'Donnell. And for once, the Imps backline leave a player loose.
Yeah, let themselves down a little bit there. I'd say it would have been an on-ball that's done that. Patrick O'Donnell's drifted down, unmarked. Lining up for a lot easier shot than Darren Sims would have had.
They have 6. The Demons want the 7th.
Still looking for options, Paddy O'Donnell.
Not confident, perhaps.
Now lining up for goals.
On screen. Paddy. Inside 50. Nice kick off the boot from O'Donnell. Adam Salmon likes it, gives it a clap, and Patrick O'Donnell gets his first and the 7th for the South Gambier Demons. They close the gap a little. They've got 3 in the third. The Imperials Bulldogs have responded with the 1 they had at half-time. It's 7 goals 2, 7-2-44 to the Imperial side's 11 goals 8.
Peter Sims up off the bench shouting instructions to his players there, Jim.
Let's go down to Marty Foster. I think, Stephen, we'll get a word from Marty, because Marty will know what Peter's been on about as we're back in the centre. Marty Foster on the bench. We'll go to Marty at this centre bounce. Martin.
Yes, Jim, there certainly is new hope on the South bench down here. They're still quietly confident. One change to note from Imps, Templeton has replaced Muldoon.
Thank you, Martin. Hope springs eternal for Peter Sims. They're back on half-back line now, South Gambier. They fall over the top of the ball. In fact, they'll get a free kick here. And David Chant, who's had a very good last half of the second quarter and the beginning of this third, chips it wide. Here's Mark Lane. He's had touches since he's come on. Around that defensive side, going up and marking beautifully in defence, Brendan Lang. He'll chip away to Kevin Quinn. Quinn at half-back. Chipping into the centre of the ground. Here's Riddle. This is Wayne. Number 15.
This player is all on his own, Jim.
Mackay, who's been a good player since coming off the bench. Paul Mullen won't run him down. He boots it inside 50. The lead from Templeton, the glove one, and he's marked the ball. Darren Templeton has 2. He's just inside 50, or just outside, in fact, when he kicks to the square. Big Flyers want it in front, almost Imperials. It comes to ground. Edmonds goes in hard. Mackay thrown off the ball, and we will have a bounce just outside the scoring line for the Imperial side. And Stephen Chute, tell us the winner of the netball A-grade grand final, if you don't mind.
Jim, South have won the A-grade netball grand final 46-45. What a great game that would have been to watch.
Well done to Belinda Healy's side. The Demons getting up 46 to Colleen Kelly's Tigers 45. And Stephen, you can't get closer than that.
You can't, Jim. And it would have been a good game to watch, wouldn't it, Robin?
What a shame we couldn't. We'll talk more about that in the coming weeks. Here's Vaughan. long towards that forward pocket. And out of bounds, it'll be a throw in deep in the forward line for the Imperial side. They lead at 11-8. They're looking okay. The Demons are 7-2. And we've played 15 minutes of this, the third advance at a park in the Western Border League Grand Final of 75 on your local station, Channel 8. Glyn. Who to chant? Here's Ryan. This is Adderwall. This is Mullen. Out of the fence come the Demons long. Grandstand side. Salmon in front. Good spoil by Herman. Ball runs loose. Sims will run onto this. Needs support. McGregor kicked the opening goal of the third. Inside Harris. And he's marked inside 50. The Ox has 3. The distance will test him from a standing shot. From the run, you'd back him. Harris long. The wind's behind it. Kevin Harris has given it a big ride. Stephen shoots.
What a goal, Jim. What a goal, Jim. That'll really lift the south side. That was a difficult shot. The wind down there, it's not easy to kick with, even though that is going down that end. He was on a pretty tight angle, and it's gone dead straight.
4 goals to Harris for South Gambier. 4 goals to Shane Keane for the Imperials Bulldogs. And just clawing their way back of the Demons. They're not out of this. 8-2 to 11 goals, 8 in the big one. Advance at a park.
Right back in it now, Jim. It's going to make the game interesting. Back to still 24 points. They've still got a 4-goal margin, but they've still got to keep Imperials scoreless for the rest of this quarter.
Out of the centre comes Porter, running on that left foot, kicks towards half forward, in fact, over the 50 line. Leading out Templeton, marks in front of Capewell, and the call is okay. It is not on the full. Darren Templeton. He has kicked 2, Stephen. He's a long way from goal.
This will test him, Jim. Tight angle.
Steer is loose in the middle.
He is a good kick. No one seems to be giving him any options. There's a short one. Not taken.
From Brophy as a change is made by Imperials. We'll go down to Marty Foster. He'll keep his eye on that for us as Darren Templeton kicks from 50. It'll hold up in the breeze. Big leapers wanted from behind. Bowlers, no free kick called here. Umpire Farley makes the call and allows play to go on, and they work it away nicely that time, do the D's. I'm finally on to McGregor from Sims, long towards Salmon. Salmon's not had a big day, 1 kick for 1 goal. The kick off the ground by his played advantage. It would have been a free kick to Hurley. Scotty Herman got it to Edmonds. Edmund left foot raking, kick, Templeton to spoil. Play on, the feed is to Porter. Inside it goes, here's the running player, Cranage. Behind, who's a chance here, Riddle. Keane gave it to him. Riddle hooks over the shoulder, sitting back on the defensive line, I think is Chant. And he takes the mark and runs to outer side. Booting long, looking for Fear. Good mark, Matty Fear. Opposition from Bernie Porter.
That was a great grab, Jim. Gutsy
under
grab.
pressure, Stephen, under pressure.
Yep. South defence is holding up a lot better this quarter too. The tackling's a lot harder. Putting a lot more pressure on the Imperials forwards.
The kick from Fear to Harvey, marks inside the boundary line. On that scoreboard, outer wing, boots it towards half forward. Sims went high. From behind Herman, the hand pass to Quinn. Inside the move is delightful to Steer. Steer comes through the centre, looking for Edmonds. They're all over him. Player down. This time was Delaney. It finally comes out the back towards Adderwall. Closing on him is Edmonds. Cranage lurking for the crumbs. Look out, Demons. This is dangerous. It goes to Riddle. Riddle centres the ball, looking for Templeton. It's cut off this time. In fact, the Imps got there first but couldn't hold it. It comes back to Adderwall. Here's a chance for Hurley as receives out from Cranage. It went to Edmonds. Edmonds to Keener's good play. Inside to Cranage. He'll run into an open goal. Look out, Dees. You can't give it away. The Imps crowd love it. And Keane kicks another one. Not it was, in fact, it wasn't. It was Cranage. He's got his third, Stephen.
It was actually Greg Vaughan.
Greg Vaughan, in fact, corrected by Stephen Shulin. Delighted to be corrected, Stephen, because it was just a big play by Vaughan.
South cannot afford that. That'll give Imperials back the edge. I mean, they got them back to 24 points. They couldn't afford to let them get another goal. It's margin's back out to 30 points now. We're 20 minutes into this quarter. You know, it's going to take a big effort, a big effort from South now. They have lifted, but it just doesn't appear to be quite enough at the moment.
8-2, 12-8, and Stephen called it. Greg Vaughan got the goal, not Cranage. The interchange has taken place. Hodges comes back on, and Sims comes off. We'll go to Marty Foster. He's been listening in. Marty will have the tactics for us as again they go forward. This time it was Cranage, Stephen Chute. Into half forward, the man in front almost Templeton. In fact, it was Riddle. It comes wide. Here's Glynn. Tidies up with a hand pass to Matthew Fear. The big left footer from Fear to the running Harris, who's got space in front of the grandstand centre wing. He kicks long to brother Kevin. One-on-one battle, and he beats him pointless.
Gee, South are lucky they've got Kevin Harris at the moment, Jim.
Kicked 4, lining up for 5. Delightful kick from his brother, Brian Harris. And the Ox needs this one. He'll start it right. It won't come back enough. It's staying right. It hits the post, in fact. But it was never going to be a goal, Stephen.
No.
8 goals 3 to 12 goals 8. And Kevin Harris, who had 4, lining up for his 5, is just offline.
Very difficult angle from there, though, Jim. Was still quite a good kick.
Kick in short. Guess who's got it? Bernie Porter had a lot of touches to rival his captain, coach Mickey Edmonds.
Yep, they'd be rivaling each other for best on ground at the moment, I'd say, Jim.
Vaughan makes the lead. It's ignored. He'll kick defensively and kick beautifully. Outside 50 with the kick, but Ryan goes up and takes a very good mark for the Demons. Repeating the netball score, 46 to 45 in favour of South. Here's Lane into an open goal, and Mark Lane narrows the margin for the Demons. Played very well since he's come on, Stephen.
He has, Jim, and you don't reckon he was very happy about kicking that goal. He's trying to get his teammates pumped up out there, which is what they need. Mark's done very well since he's come on. He's got a lot of touches out there. We started on the wing, look like he's playing in the forward line at the moment, which may give him a bit of bite there around the forward line, maybe just what they need. But I don't know, Jim, it's just they're going to have to play very well. It's a big margin to be coming into the last quarter, kicking into the breeze. But they are playing better. They are lifting. They still need a few more players to lift out there, though.
9-3-57 to 12 goals, 8-80. Will the tired legs from the preliminary final start to tell for the Bulldogs? Will the Demons run on fresher? The wind will drop in the last quarter, Stephen. I predict the game is not over at Vansittart Park.
Far from over, Jim. And also remembering Imperials only had 6 days break, not 7.
Good comment, Stephen. Precisely. And they've kicked 5 goals to 2 with the breeze in this quarter. Admittedly, the Demons, 9-3 to 12-8. They need another couple before three-quarter time.
That's right. They need 2 or 3. 3 at least they need.
The kick forward is by Paul Aaron. The mark in defence is by Michael Mullen. He's done very well back there. He's moved on to Keane. Keane has 4.
He hasn't had many touches this quarter, though, Keane.
Kick into the centre, McGregor high and marks well. Now Duncan used the ball. Will kick.
Boy, he's lifted, hasn't he, Jim?
Nice kick, McGregor, inside 50. Ryan's in front. Good spoil by Hurley to ground. Porter doesn't bounce, doesn't hold his feet. Ryan went in hard to Harris. This is Brian Harris. Hooks on that northern goal rather, but sitting under it. Walker drops what he should have taken. Harris kicks it from the pack, but he's going to be offline. Gee, strong. Kevin Harris, number 23, misses.
That could have proved very costly there by the
Bud
Imperials
Walker
player.
it was who dropped the ball. The young ruckman.
Lack of concentration just a bit, but they got away with it.
Nice kick in. And it's found here by Fisher. He'll kick it wide. Direction of Riddle, who's come down from a half-forward flank and played very well. Hooks the ball, should go to Sims, boundary line looms. Sims keeps it into Glynn. They went backwards on the move, but it was good attacking move in the end. Glynn runs off that centre wing, chips away looking for Salmon, who's not had a good day, we repeat. Here's Fear, he's had a very good third quarter. Quicking back inside 50, good defensive work by Walker. He made up for it, played on and lost it. Here's a chance for South. Brian Harris closing in, kicks for goal. The Demons are back in the ball game, Stephen Chute.
They certainly are, Jim. That was an excellent goal there by Dagger Harris. He's very similar to his brother in those situations, getting the ball on the run and slots it through for a goal.
10-4 to 12-8, Stephen.
You could nearly put that goal down to Richard Adwell. That was an excellent smother after that. After the Imperial player took a mark there, went to play on. Richard Adwell smothered it. The ball went to ground. Dagger Harris has picked it up and banged through another goal.
A 6-2 third quarter by the South Gambier Demons, the reigning champs.
Back to 16 points now, Jim.
And they're a chance. Stephen Chute senses it. I hope you at home sense the same. Could have a big last quarter coming up for you at the 25-minute mark. The D's are back in the ball game in the 95 grand final, and you're watching on 8 Sport, your local channel. Vansittart Park is the venue. Big crowd in. And all the action about to unfold. They've been top team all year, Stephen. You'd expect them to go out with a bang rather than a whimper.
Yeah, certainly, Jim. And as we've talked about earlier on in the game, we expected South to come back because they are the top side, and they have in a big way.
Grant Harvey off half-back flank on defensive wing. Looks in this time for Attawell, the bounce. He couldn't hold his feet. It was okay. The feed goes on nicely. The give was to Prospery Porter. Here's a lead from Ryan. Couldn't quite get there, the big fella. The Imperials defence charge back with Hurley. It goes wide of him. Good defensive work by Hurley. Keeps it going towards that boundary line. Hot on his feet is Salmon. The tackle is good. Hurley's hurt his arm and he could be out of action. The tackle by Salmon, ferocious but legal, and the break starting to go, well, no pun intended, against Hamilton.
That's
the
right.
Imperials Bulldogs team from Hamilton, under siege at the minute, led superbly at half-time by 41 points.
The game certainly has turned, Jim. South are making the most of their opportunities now. They're running the ball out of defence. Their on-ballers have lifted. McGregor, Prospery Porter's got a couple of kicks this quarter. And, of course, that man down in the full forward line, who I called for to be playing on the ball, didn't want him at full forward, made a bit of mockery of my decision. He's absolutely killing him down there. What a move that's been by Peter Sims.
There's a shot of Scotty Herman. The guy went down. It hasn't hurt his arm. In fact, I think just winded. We'll go to Marty Foster. Marty's closer to the action than we are. The throw-in takes place very shortly to Marty. The ball comes towards that boundary line. Riddle caught one in the eye. Goes close to the boundary line this time. Harris tries to keep it in. It is over as we go to Marty Foster.
Yes, I think at this stage, Scott Herman's just winded, Jim. But one point to note, the South bench is very fired up, very vocal, and they can sense victory.
Marty, stay with you. How's the wind down there?
It's died right down, Jim. It's almost negligible right now. There's no real advantage.
Thank you, Martin. Could be a big last quarter. And the Imps would have the breeze normally, but it may die away and maybe South finish a bit fresher. Great play by Lane. Won the hard ball. It's booted wide. Players race on it. Fisher went without. In fact, it was Mackay. Kevin Harris runs out of room, and making sure of that is number 12, Michael Steer.
Those little things, Jim. Imperials players running hard for the ball. Ball bounces the other way. It was all going for them in the first half. At this stage, it's all going for South.
Ryan got the hit out. Vaughan kicking towards this defensive wing in front of the grandstand. The bounce favours Hodges. He chips away, looking in there for someone. Prospery Porter, in fact, but he's given away the free kick, if not the mark, and it will be number 21, Garron Fisher. Defensive 50 towards the grandstand wing at Fansetta Park, sitting underneath it. Not paid, almost interference, I thought, that time for Paul Aaron. The hand pass, Edmonds, he's trapped on the boundary line, has to turn it over. And Mickey may not be too worried, because they still lead at 14 points to margin, rather 16 points to margin, and we're at the 28-minute mark of this, the third quarter.
That's right, Jim. They still are in front. They've had a bit of a lapse this quarter. I'm sure they'll come out harder in the fourth quarter. Nick Edmonds is a pretty cool customer.
Important minutes coming up as Edmonds got it from Riddle, then got out of trouble. Kranich, who gave it to Vaughan, and they build something out of it. This move to the Bulldogs. Vaughan goes inside looking for Kranich. He'll shoot from 40. Kranich on that southern goal. Capewell in front. Punches to front. It hits the boundary line. We will have a throw in. And important, Stephen, that they not score here, or South Gambier are really looking down the barrel.
Yeah, vital importance. In the South defence has got to hold up here, keep it tight, clear the ball out. They cannot afford to let Imperials get a goal, a late goal in this quarter.
Riddle took it out of the air and got it to Keane, who kicks
Like
in the
that.
packet. He's put it through. Magira will give the all clear. It may have been touched. It was. Great umpiring, Tony Magira.
Good umpiring, good defence, I suppose you could say, from South to get a hand on that ball.
Indeed. Boy, oh boy, that would have made it tough. At the 30-minute mark, 29 and a half, it's 10-4 to 12-9. Lee Capewell. 17 points the ball game. We're on three-quarter time. Capewell, grandstand side of Fansetta Park. Big leap, Harvey. This is Fear. This is Mullen. Inside, this is Sims, Michael. The kick is not good. Lane will run out of space. And boy, oh boy, didn't he turn that over.
South were running in numbers then, had 4 or 5 running with them in that pack.
In fact, it was Chant.
They look a lot better.
I apologise. Throw in to take place. Boundary umpire Walter. Riddle, almost uncontested. Prospery Porter pulled off it, no call. The feet almost went out in the direction of Brophy. Paul Aaron it was, in fact. They fall on top of it. They're lookalikes, those two. And umpire Tony Magira will bounce the ball. Stephen, a big last quarter coming up. We don't have overtime. We can't do that. We'll come back again next week and decide if it's level at the end of the last quarter. Here's Lane, important touch, but Edmonds cut it off. He's run down. Hodges got it to Attawell. Attawell from outside 50 goes short to Salmon. And Adam Salmon, in the context of the season, will probably not have a more important kick to date.
No, that's dead right, Jim. If he scores this one, it will be back to 11 points. And we do have a ball game on our hands then. So it's going to be a big kick. And of course, he's a straight kick. Leading goal kicker in the competition.
Salmon
lines them up.
Has one. Salmon,
good off the boot. It's a bit short.
Has two. Big shepherd from Mick Ryan.
Good work by Mick Ryan there,
Take
Jim.
3 points of that if you don't mind, Mick.
Yep.
And Salmon kicks his second, and the margin is 10 points. And don't touch that dial, folks. We have got a big last quarter coming up from you.
That was excellent work by Mick Ryan then. Shepherding that ball through. It was falling short, wouldn't have made the distance.
And there's a fight at centre-half back between Mark Lane and Brendan Lang. The umpires haven't seen it. It's stopped. There's Adam Salmon on screen. He's more worried about the goal. Have the Demons got time for one more before three-quarter time to set up the scenario for the last quarter? Sims went hard against Riddle. Vaughan got a mighty hit. There's Kranich, the Riddle to Edmonds. Edmonds has been fantastic. He's forced to kick right foot and he finds the full forward in Templeton.
He's a big, strong boy, Jim. Get him in front like that. He's going to take that mark most of the time.
And didn't they work the set play again? Stephen Chute from the middle.
Yep. Mick Edmonds, what a coach.
Gee.
He's done very well with this side.
What an important touch to Michael Edmonds. Darren Templeton to full forward has kicked two. An important one from him. Salmon had one at the other end. Templeton has one at the southern end. And the margin has gone back to 17 points.
That was bad luck for Southend. They done all the hard work, got the score back to 11 points. They didn't really want that goal. Margin's back out to 17 points now. The good thing, the positive factor for them, though, Jim, is the wind has died, and they may be fresher legs. You know, Peter Sims will get them fired up.
It'll all unfold, Stephen. I still believe South are a big chance, as you do.
They certainly are, Jim.
At 11-4 to 13 goals, 9.
When you've got a side like South and a coach like Peter Sims, you're never out of it.
Tony McGeary gets us underway. We're on three-quarter time as the siren sounds to end it at three-quarter time. A 7-goal to 3 third quarter by the Demons to set up what should be a thrilling last quarter. The margin 17 points, 11-4 to the Imperials Bulldogs, 13-9. Marty, I'll come down. We'll take the centre bounce. We'll see where the ball goes, and as soon as I can, I'll cross to you. Marty, just hold Dean there, even if we have to go back to the play. Hold him there, and I'll come back to you again as soon as I can. Umpire Kevin Farley about to get us underway in what should be a humdinger of a last quarter here at Vansittart Park. The Demons fighting back, trailing by 41 points at half-time. They've got back within 17. The big factor against them, they're against the breeze. The factor for them, they may have the fresher legs. They had the rest last week. Ball booted to this, the grandstand side. It'll go close to the boundary line and over for a throw-in. Marty Foster has a very special guest on the boundary line. Marty.
Yes, Jim, I've got Dean Jenkinson here, the Western Border medalist for this season. Dean, what are your thoughts on the game so far?
Very, very interesting at the moment. Could go either way. Whoever gets the first goal here, I would say would win.
Can South get back, do you think?
Yes, South have been playing well this last quarter here and seem to be running the ball a lot better than what Imps are.
Are you surprised by the way Imps came out at the start?
No, being past Imps play and what have you, I expect this sort of situation from them. They always fight hard and they'll be fighting hard till the end.
Okay, thanks, Dean.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marty, with Dean Jenkinson, the medalist for 95, as Mark Lane cop one high and chips in short, looking for Salmon. In fact, it's Hodges. And the first goal, as Dean Jenkinson said, will be crucial. He played in the 93 premiership side for Imperials. This year, he won the medal for 95 with Hayward. And Hodges about to kick long into the breeze. Dropped a little, it's still there. Hodges goes long, the ball will hold up. Imps in front, from behind. It will be Imperials through the agency of Lang. He gets it across towards Vaughan. The defensive play by Vaughan is very good in front of Keane. Out on front of that scoreboard wing and defensive side of the ground. And I don't think Imps will mind if the ball's out there a lot at all, Stephen.
No, I think they'll be quite happy to see it over the boundary line for most of this last quarter, Jim. They have got the advantage, but South are coming home with a full head of steam. It's going to be a great last quarter.
From the ruck, Riddle got it to Vaughan. Brilliantly across to Steer. The kick in short will find Edmonds.
Crosby Porter going with Edmonds now, is it?
The
Jim?
captain coach. It is Renato with him. Well picked up, Stephen. Beautiful raking left foot, and he's over the mark by about 5 metres. You never know whether they're soft calls, Stephen, or they're accurate. Let's just say the umpire was closer to us than us.
In my opinion, Jim, it was a bit of a non-call. I mean, the ball had been cleared. He didn't smother the ball. He didn't touch the ball.
Didn't affect the kick at all.
Didn't affect the play at all. I mean, why worry? I mean, obviously it's good for Imperials, and it wasn't really a bad mistake for Renato Crosby Porter, but, you know, that's just it's one of those borderline decisions that, unfortunately, the umpires have got to make the call.
That's indeed, yep.
And it's a lot easier to do it from up here than it is down there.
Grand final decision like that, Mickey Edmonds.
And to a player of his calibre too.
It's a gift, Mickey, an absolute gift from inside 50, and he's kicked it right and missed.
Bad miss.
And did he hold a calf muscle after that kick? 13 goals 10, 11 goals 4, 18 points the margin. We're underway in the final quarter advance to the park.
You may be right about that, Jim. He did start on the half-forward flank instead of in the centre or on the ball. So.
Magnificent kick, Stephen, from Cape. Well, way outside 50, and Renato gets a free kick in return.
That was a big kick, wasn't it, Jim? That was huge. He is a prodigious punt, and he's cleared it well over 50 into this breeze.
The comics in the crowd are on 50 after he kicks it. They all call for 50 South. They don't get it. Kick into the centres. Not well directed by Crosby Porter at all. And that's a giveaway. And that's the riddle. And he can kick the ball many, many metres. Kicks it very high, well inside 50. Glynn's in front. In front of him, in fact, it's Mullen. They had it sewn up that time. Capewell will go wide to Fear. No, he goes, in fact, longer to nobody. That wasn't good vision.
No.
And it goes over the boundary line in front of number 61, Julian Brophy.
Matty Fear was all on his own then. Get the ball over to him. They had a 2-on-1 situation.
And they turn it over, unlike the Demons, but it is a grand final and it is pressure.
Yep.
In front of the scoreboard, we come towards the 5-minute mark of this, the last quarter. An 18-point margin to the 93 champs, Imperials over the 94 champs. South Gambier, long kick on goal from Riddle. Inside 50, and the first goal is to the Bulldogs.
That'll really sink the hopes of the South side now, Jim. That was a great goal by Wayne Riddle on the run then. Balked around one player and has dobbed it from just inside the 50-metre line.
Their finishing is superb. They've got 4 or 5 players who go forward, don't they?
Yep.
In fact, Stephen, who just finished so well.
Yep, they all kick the ball well on the run. Mick Edmonds, Wayne Riddle. They're all superbly skilled footballers, and they are finishing off at the moment. Pushes the margin back out to 26 points. It's a big ask.
It is a big ask. The Demons are up to it. The breeze is still there. Mick Ryan gets the hit out. It's 14 goals, 10 to 11-4. They cannot afford to let him score from this thrust. Running players. Riddle, it's Colin the ruckman following down. High ball underneath it, almost Templeton. It's knocked to the square. Aaron's there, but he can't get it. Here's a chance for Vaughan. The hand pass suspicious. The bounce cruel for Aaron, and Edmonds goes over the top of Mullen, and we'll have a ball up. Gee, Mickey sensed that one. He reckons if they get the next one unanswered, then I reckon Imperials.
Yeah, well, the margin will be out to 32 points then, Jim. I think it'd be just too much for the South side. You know, to come back again. They've already made one comeback. They just cannot afford to let the Imperials side get another goal in the next few minutes.
Big punch from Walker.
It can be done though, Jim.
It's a test of the heart now, a test of the will for South Gambier. They came in raging favourites. Imps had to do it the hard way. One through in the preliminary final. The Demons sitting waiting for them, but it's been the Bulldog this afternoon so far.
We've got to remember, Jim, too, Imperials didn't even make the 5 last year.
Big comeback. Lane went high. Quinn spoiled from behind. Mackay, who's played very well.
How's this for vision?
Great pass to Walker. And Walker alone and unattended inside 50. Thought about giving it to Riddle and then said nope. I think if he had been on his right foot or Riddle's right foot, he might have given it off. The distance won't worry Bud Walker. The youngster, 16 years of age. Long to the right, almost in the square. South are back there. Crosby Porter goes for safety, gets away with it. Throw in to take place, right forward pocket. for the Bulldogs. They're looking good, leading by 24 points, and we've played 6 minutes of the final term.
Bud Walker got a big future ahead of him if he's 16 years of age, Jim.
Magnificent player.
Not bad to be able to play in a grand final at 16 and might have a premiership on his plate.
Considering he's still under 18, North Gambier won the under 18s today over Imperials. He can't be in two places though.
No, great effort that by the North under 18s too. Good to
Terrific.
see him outside win an under 18 grand final.
Undefeated all season under coach Ian Perryman. They did very well. Here's Darren Sims from Harris. He wants to feed it back to Harris. He didn't get away from the man on the mark. You teach that to the under 16s, Darren. And they turn the ball over. Harvey, they'll get it back. Good persistence by South. Inside the 50. Lane beautifully outran Quinn. Will kick from an impossible angle and give the ball away in the end. He had no one to kick it to rather than go for goal. May have been the best option, Mark Lane. We'll see from the throw-in.
Good work by Mark Lane then on the experienced Kevin Quinn. Just used his body, got him out of the road. Mark Lane's not a big boy, but Kevin Quinn's fairly big. He used his body to advantage.
Throw in deep in the right forward pocket for the Demons. Kevin Quinn, the man mentioned by Stephen Chu, chips it away to Shane Keane, who's kicked 4 big goals this afternoon. He looks for Mickey Edmonds. He's outnumbered, but he recovers. Danger South. The handball given to Cranage. Cranage will shut the gate. He's missed to the right. 1 point.
They're looking good, Jim. Still running the ball down, peppering the goals. South will need a big lift from everyone. They're not out of it yet.
And the ball in transition, Stephen, very quickly from back line to forward line for Imperials.
Running it superbly, Jim.
Here's Adderwall. He'll kick wide. He'll look for Chant. You've got to mark it, David, and run on. You do. He looked for Harvey. The hand pass is good to Harvey. He gets around. Riddle got taken high.
Oh, I reckon he might have been a bit lucky there, Jim.
Very
he went
close,
to duck.
Very close, Stephen. Back to Chant. Chant got the kick away. Porter almost got a hand on it. Good front position by Sims. Hand pass to Ryan. Not noted for his speed. The kick is not good. He was looking for Salmon, and it's cut off by Quinn.
I'm afraid their kicking's let them down most of the day, Jim.
Not good, Stephen.
They just haven't been able to quite pinpoint their passes to the players.
In contrast, Imperials have been very efficient. They play it forward, Cranage up and marks delightfully.
Like we said, though, Jim, perhaps it's been the pressure from Imperials that they've applied to him.
Comes inside on that right foot. Benny Cranage inside 50. Big leap from behind Walker. Beautifully read Brophy to Keane to Vaughan. They'll shut the gate this time. Offline, he's missed to the left.
Wasted opportunities.
Ooh, under siege the Demons.
Still edging further ahead.
10-minute mark of this, the final quarter. Western Buddha Grand Final for 95. Get the decade right, Jimmy. As they go outside 50. Vaughan will run onto the loose ball. He'll run inside 50. He'll shoot on that northern goal and he'll miss again. Won't get the distance. Leroy Capewell spent time on the bench with a yellow card to Harris. Cut off by Porter. Porter did it well. Hooks it back on his own. Templeton. He'll go into an open goal. And look out. You're in trouble now, South.
Yeah, I think the game might be over now, Jim. That goal, it actually puts Imperials 7 kicks in front.
And significantly, a player left on his own because they did the right thing, Stephen. They were mounting an attack from defence, but turned it over.
Yeah, once again, Jim, there just that sleight of hand by the Imperials player then in Porter. Knocked the ball to ground, caught the South players off guard. They were running forward. The ball went backwards towards the Imperials' goals. That's just one of those chances you take in football. And unfortunately, South have got to take those chances if they want to win the game.
Absolutely.
If it had come off, it would have been superb.
Yep.
But it's just one of those things. Just the sleight of hand. I think you've got to give credit to Porter there.
4 goals, 8 on the scoreboard. 15 goals, 12, 102 to 11 goals, 470. 32 points the margin. And it looks a little beyond the Demons, although they may try and fight back as the Imperials try and work it out of the centre. Ryan, he'll go inside. Who will he go for? Prospery Porter's the quick legs. He gets some space. They'll try and run him down. He goes inside, attacking 50. The ball won't bounce for him. Loses control. Going in is Lane. Lane, a beautiful hand pass McGregor. McGregor to Harris. He'll run on that southern goal. Long kick by Harris. The answering goal by South Gambier.
Good quick reply then from South Gambier. It's just what they needed to perhaps keep their noses in the game, but 10-minute mark, still plenty of time left, Jim.
Brian Harris has kicked 2. His brother Kevin Harris has kicked 4. There have been 2 with 4, Templeton and Keane for the Bulldogs.
That fat lady hasn't quite warmed up yet, Jim.
No, but she's starting to lubricate the larynx, as they say, Stephen.
Another quick goal to South will make the game interesting again, Jim, but they need to get out of the centre and get a couple of quick goals actually to make the game interesting
well,
again.
as you say, Stephen, they can't afford to go goal for goal. That's no good to them. They've actually got to get 2 or 3 together now. And maybe with the wind dropping a fraction, although the flags still flutter, come home strongly. The hit out goes Mullen. He crunches his way through. He gives it out to Paul Mullen. He goes inside. The chip is away to Lane, who's been very good. He'll kick inside 50. They want you, Adam Salmon. You've got to make a yard. He can't do it. And Imps are happy to see it go over the boundary line. They want on the full South Gambier. They won't get it. And the throw-in will take place. Peter Sims. He's not given up, but he knows the job's in front of his boys. A bad second quarter, maybe even a bad first quarter as the interchange takes place for Imperials.
Really, what can a coach do in this situation, Jim? He's trained all year. They're down to the last quarter. It's entirely up to his players. I think they've just got to lift themselves.
Fisher on, Delaney off for Imperials. They go towards the offensive 50 to hand pass to Michael Mullen. He'll go looking for Harvey. Harvey attacked from behind and crudely by Paul Aaron. And Grant Harvey will take the ball.
These tackles and these free kicks are all holding up time though, Jim. It's not going to worry Imperials.
We go to the 13-minute mark, Stephen. The ball is kicked towards that scoreboard win Lane. He tried very hard. He got it to Ryan, who can't gather the ball on the ground. They close on him. Imperials work it out with a rough kick. Here's Colin Riddle. He's attacked by Mullen, but he's clever enough to get it towards Kranich. They fall on top of the ball. And we'll have, no we won't, we'll have, yes we will have a bounce. Tony McGuire says, let's have a bounce, boys. And we're at the 13.5-minute mark of this, the final quarter. 15-12, 12-4.
Michael Sims on, Tim.
Michael Sims is on.
Young Pickles is on for Mullen. Change has been made.
Need the fresh legs. You've got to try something, and Peter Sims is trying it all on the offensive 50 for the Imperials Bulldogs. They've made the trip to Mount Gambier. They won it in 93. They look as if they might take it away in 95. Hodges, wide, McGregor. Long ball, McGregor. That scoreboard wing behind the sit to Harris. He's got a yard. If he can get away, he's forced to get a quick kick. Gee, that was a good tackle. The ball towards the boundary line, and it will run out of bounds because Brendan Lang in front of Kevin Harris says that's where I want it to go.
Significant. Kevin Harris hasn't seen much of the ball in this quarter yet, Jim, and he was the one that lifted him in that last quarter. Perhaps the player in Lang's doing a good job on him.
Give him
quieting
credit.
him down a bit.
Good defensive work. The dangerous Harris with 4 goals. Sitting underneath at Fear, and a good mark to Matthew Fear. Attacking side of the square. He'll kick deep in 50, but it's a very crowded forward line. He goes long, very long. McGregor on a big lead. Cut off by O'Donnell. No talking, his born, and the Bulldogs will run it out of here. Good Shepherd Quinn on Mark Lane. Keane will boot it wide, looking for the captain coach. There's Edmonds. One grab on the left foot, turns it inside offensive 50. Not good that time, Mickey.
No.
And Glynn cuts it off.
Perhaps it was that plan they were working to and the player wasn't there.
And they turn it over. Glynn's handball under pressure put Ryan in trouble. One-handed handball's allowed to go. Edmonds works out. He works inside 50. Riddle. Here's this man Templeton again. A mighty left foot snap. No, comes inside Porter. He's caught left foot. Hooks it back cleverly to Riddle.
Cool under pressure,
Stephen
Jim.
Shoot, was that percentage football?
That was cool under pressure, Jim. He's weighed up his options. He could have gone for goal, could have gone for the glory, big left foot shot for goals, but instead he found his player in Riddle there with a better shot, and of course it must have been good talking from Imperials. Obviously Wayne Riddle was calling for the ball, and so Porter knew exactly where he was, just turned around, little left foot hook over the shoulder and hit him on his chest.
Wayne Riddle has 2. He kicked a big one in this quarter earlier from about 49 metres. He kicks from about the same distance. Close to the man on the mark. The wind pushes it long, but pushes it left.
Went very close to the man on the mark then, Jim.
Perhaps struggling a little for distance. 12-4 to 15-13. 12-4, 15-13 as the doctors call for, and I reckon that's going to be for Timmy Delaney, who went off with what looked like a broken nose. The kick in from Capewell. Out to that outer side, and Mullen, who's had a good game, Michael Mullen.
Yeah, he's
and a 50-metre penalty.
You want to be careful. Don't retell.
And at the 15-minute mark, they need something to happen now, and maybe the 50-metre break is what they wanted. Mullen will kick from the offensive side of the square, Stephen. He will be forced to kick long. He's looking for Salmon. On the lead, McGregor. He'll do, and can kick the distance from there, Stephen.
Yeah, quite capable of kicking that distance, Jim. Gee, he's lifted in this half. I think those few words that Peter Sims had to certain players in the rooms at half-time has lifted a few of the senior players at South.
Unnamed certain players,
Unnamed,
of course. A big kick from McGregor. That looks okay. It may have just missed to the left.
That's what they've got to do, though. They've got to go for home there. They've got nothing to lose.
12-5, 15-13. The Bulldogs lead it. We're over the 15-minute mark in the last quarter.
think the scoreboard really tells the dominance that Imperials have sort of had on it most of this game, with scoring shots 28-16.
McKay to the running, Porter, and they've run all day, Imps.
Yeah, there'll be a few tired legs out there, but I mean, they've done the work now.
They're playing on adrenaline now. How'd you like to be this far in front with 14 minutes, the tops 12 minutes perhaps still to play?
Jim, I think you'd nearly be counting the premiership. It's going to be an almighty comeback from here for South to win it.
Here's Ryan, got it down. Cranage read it better. It goes in the direction of Riddle. Quick kick to Glenn, who looks loose in that half back line.
Yep.
And Edmonds is definitely injured, if not exhausted. The hand pass from Chant to Adderwall, back to Chant. They work something from half back, looking for Prospery Porter. Renato makes something of this. He'll go wide to Hodges. Hodges will come back inboard. He goes inside the offensive 50. They're looking for Salmon in front. He couldn't quite grab it. Great defensive work this time by Imperials. Booting it wide. Up goes Hurley from the back. It's a mark. In fact, it was over the top of Hurley. That time was Harvey. Chips away. Salmon leads. They cut him off. Down to ground, Lang, he's taken off the ball towards Brophy. Hurley's being held, or someone being held. Scotty Herman, in fact.
Got rid of the ball, and Dagger Harris still held him after he got rid of it. So they can't afford to give away free kicks like that. Of course, it's just playing right into Imperials' hands.
And the boy from the famous Herman footballing family boots it long from half-back towards the centre of the ground. A chance for Keane. It went without it. Mullins attacked with the ball, but the umpire, Tony McGuire, says, no, it wasn't in the back. Michael, I'm going to bounce it. We go towards the 20-minute mark, Stephen. 15-13 to 12-4. The Bulldogs hold the Demons.
Yeah, I think it's a tough ask. Imperials will just be playing out this game now. South can salvage perhaps a little bit of pride, work their way back into it, but 10 minutes to go.
Oh, Edmonds cleverly to Cranage. Cranage looks for Templeton one-on-one, but sitting behind him and reading it better was Leroy Capewell. Goes for the hand pass to Chant. Chant short to Mullen. They've got 2-on-1. Get it on, Michael. Get it on. He does to Chant. Chant will be run down. Will he caught holding the ball? No. Mullins tackled high, and he is, no, holding the ball. One or the other. Tony McGuire closest, makes the call.
Nothing goes right for you. Nothing goes right for you when you're down by this much.
Inside 50 to Mickey Edmonds, and he could just put the cream on the premiership cape, Mickey. He's kick one. He'll go back on his left foot. He'll go wham, and maybe shut the gate for the South Gambier side.
What a way to top it off for Mick Edmonds to kick a goal in this last quarter.
Michael kicks left, Mickey kicks left foot. It looks okay. What's the goal umpire think? Yes, he does. And Mickey Edmonds, there he is.
And isn't he happy?
Yes, sir, says Mickey. And I reckon he knows that the Imperial side are home. They're home, Stephen.
Yeah, I think that lady's out the back warming up right now, Jim. I
can hear the chords coming on the background.
Yeah, I'm afraid the break that South led Imperials get out to, 40 points at halftime. Even though they got back to 11 points in that third quarter, they'd played their game then, and it was just too big a ask for South to get back.
16-13, 109, 12-4, 76. We're at the 20-minute mark of the last quarter. You're on your local station, Channel 8. And Renato Prospery Porter runs out of centre and boots wide to Duncan McGregor. Duncan McGregor, the left footer, will slow it down. I don't know why.
No, they don't need that. They need to get the ball on quickly.
He does this time, looking for options, and in front and getting the option is this man, Bud Walker. Gee, his value today, 16 years of age.
Played quite well. He's played well beyond his years, hasn't he?
The big man, Riddle, read by Cranage. He got it to Vaughan, and again they attack. Running loose is Keane. He's kick 4. He'll go inside looking for the captain coach. A little shove from Mickey, but the umpire has a sense of theatre and says it's the captain coach, and I'm going to pay the mark.
When you're hot, Jim. Hey? You get the calls, you get everything going your way. Unfortunately, that's the way.
Oh, no, I'm not being cynical, but goodness me.
I'm afraid I would have paid that free kick.
It won't matter. Mickey will kick from 35, maybe 40. Beautiful kick, Mickey Edmonds. The Bulldogs are premiers in season 95. Mickey kicks his third, and it is just a delight to watch the ball come off the boot of Mickey.
Yeah, it couldn't happen to a nicer bloke too, Jim. He's one of the great players of the Western Border, and he's also one of the fairest. You know, you get a lot of these players that are the dirty type, but I've never seen Mick Edmonds, you know, throw a punch unless he's antagonised. He gets tagged every week, you know. gets pushed and scragged, and he just goes out there and plays his game. So
17-13, Stephen. 12 goals for. The Demons can only manage one into the breeze, and the Bulldogs have kicked their fourth for the final quarter. The premiership quarter, it'll be for the Bulldogs from Hamilton. The Imperial side, winners in 93, and they'll take it out with 96 and a 50-metre penalty. No, in fact, he's going to turn it over.
Reversing it. Well, Jim, all I can say is at least one Bulldog side won the premiership this year.
Stephen from the wrong side of the border for East.
Unfortunately, Jim, yes.
Greg Vaughan, long from the centre. Riddle, big man, big mark, and they don't get any smaller as time goes by.
Colin Riddle, over his brother Wayne Riddle, I might add, pushed him to the ground.
And
so
they'll celebrate tonight, Will Imps. I think they've actually got a little function due in Mount Gambier for a couple of hours, then maybe on the bus for that trip home.
Just to rub it in, eh?
All in good spirit. I think there's
I'm
quite a
sure.
good feeling between these two clubs, actually.
Imperials are a classy side.
Great respect for each other.
Yep, no, they're all right.
Mickey Edmonds, probably his last game for Imps. We're speculating on that one.
Look at this.
Chipping in short, and the man who's had a big game, Brendan Lang.
That really tells the tale of the day, Jim. Colin Riddle was lining up for goals. South Wales was just standing there and waiting for him to kick the ball. Brendan Lang's popped into a little hole about 20 metres out.
And Mickey knows he's got it. Mickey Edmonds off screen just looked up at the scoreboard, looking at the time clock. The Bulldogs are home over the Demons. Lang, not a good kick by Brendan. It'll fall short. Defensive punch goes to Fear. Has not stopped trying. Mullen, nearly South's best.
Yeah.
Hand pass to McGregor, who's had a better second half. He kicks into the centre, looking for Lane. He's crashed in the back and no free kick. Colin Riddle went in hard. Hadawal went in hard and probably earns, no, he doesn't earn a free kick, as Kevin Farley, who's umpired the game with Tony McGeera very well this afternoon, will have a bounce. Darren Sims, hand pass, tap on Lane. Levin taken high, Hurley, allowed to go on. Brophy gets it, shoots it wide. This is Aaron. Paul Aaron, long ball, taken after he kicked it.
Jim.
Silly play by Hodges, I think it was. And the free kick will go to Bud Walker, the 16-year-old, 194, 87 kilograms. And the Pioneers are looking for a tall centre.
He might be handy for him, Jim.
Still growing,
Very
Stephen.
handy. Bit of an athlete.
Buddy Walker has not kicked one this afternoon, has had a sensational contest. Played very well. And with 12-4, 17-13, Bud, cap it off with a goal, son.
Gonna line him up from a long way out. Going for the torp, is he? No.
Drop punt, it's got plenty on it. It's got plenty on it. Stephen Shoot. Bud Walker gets a goal in the grand final.
Good on the young fella, Jim. What a way to cap it off for him. He's had a good day. 16 years of age, has come into the pressure of a Western Border grand final and has acquitted himself superbly. And to cap it off with a goal, you know, just rewards for the young kid.
18-13 to 12 goals for. We'll go to Marty Foster, who's on the boundary line. Marty can't get South Gambier out of this, but he might have an impression from down on the boundary. Martin.
Yes, Jim, the South bench is very quiet and very depressed down here. On the other hand, the Imps bench is up on its feet, just waiting for the siren to sound.
Marty, you've done a good job from the boundary line. Good interview with Dean Jenkinson. Here's the Ox. Kevin Harris on the left foot. It drops in short, getting a boot onto it. Adam Salmon had a game he would rather forget. And it is out of bounds deep in that right forward pocket. Boundary umpire Walter makes the grounds. They've run very well, the two boys on the boundary, Wilson and Walter. And they'll throw it in. Dying moments of the 95 grand final. We are at the 25-minute mark, and it is a Bulldog victory for 95. Sims gets front posse to ground. He'll feed it off. It'll go to Vaughan. He got it from Mackay. Back in towards the centre. Hodges needs a good bounce. From behind, good spoil. Kranich, good vision. Turning into trouble that time was Aaron. He got it to Riddle. Riddle towards centre half forward on Mickey. He couldn't take the mark. He made a mistake. Take yourself off, Mickey, for that. From behind, he's crunched that time. Riddle went very hard on Adderwall. Didn't matter. Glynn tidied up. Got it across to Mick Ryler. He goes inside to Harvey. They carry the ball across the wing to Adderwall. Kick it long, Richard. He does towards half forward, but not well directed. And the mark will be taken in defence by Bud Walker at one end or the other. Stephen Chute.
He's everywhere, isn't he, Jim? Pops up, kicks a goal, and now he's back filling in the defence for him.
Julian Brophy has the ball on the defensive side of the arc, on the defensive side of the ground. for a very offensive Imperial side today. Boots it long, scoreboard wing, beautifully read. Cranich, classy kid this one, towards Mickey, went one-handed and behind the play. The free kick by Colin Riddle, given away. And David Chant, who's battled hard to McGregor. Much better second half, Duncan. The ball to Chant. Grandstand wing, Chant, we're at the 26-minute mark behind Harvey. Can they do something to salvage a goal maybe? Bit of dignity for the Demons, but the boundary line closes and it will be a throw in again by boundary umpire Walter. Stephen, I want you to pick the best three for South, the best three for Imps. I'll give you a minute to think about that.
Thanks very much, Jim.
Here's Walker. He's got a vote from mine just to give you a hand there, Stephen. Young Bud Walker, sensational. Number 14 might figure too. Here's Harvey. In short to Salmon, the ball punched from behind Adam, but when you deliver the ball like that to someone like Adam Salmon, he's not going to get it too often, and they haven't helped the full forward today. Boundary umpire Walter getting plenty of work. In the sunshine advance at the park, the big crowd, knowing the Bulldogs have won the premiership for 95 in the Western Border League. You've been watching on 8 Sport, your local station. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage. Stephen Tudor's going to wrap it up for us very quickly. Marty Foster's been on the boundary line. The Imps crowd very happy. There's Mickey Edmonds. He's done it again, the captain coach. Will Stephen Tudor give him best on the ground? We'll have to wait and see. From behind, Wayne Riddle. Porter, he's been very good as well. And the ball from the ricochet of Paddy O'Donnell, who's been very quiet today, over the boundary line and out of bounds. Dying moments, we go to 28 minutes in the last. It won't be a long quarter because Imps have kicked 5 to the South Gambier Demons 1. From behind Riddle, Harris, a losing grand final for Kevin Harris. Hasn't played in too many of those with East or South. The good tackle, brilliant tackle by Mackay, and the ball goes to ground. It was in fact Prospery Porter. And the bounce will take place. Umpire Magira. The umpires compliment them today. They've been terrific. Up they go. Harris towards Lane. He's battled hard. Keen's had a terrific game. He's now playing on the ball or in defence. He's kicked 4 majors. And Imps are going to win it for 95, Stephen.
Yep, certainly are, Jim. Home and hose now.
Well, a 1-point result in the netball. That was close. 46-45. Win to South.
Would have been a fantastic game to see that, Jim.
They won't take the football netball double. Lane cleverly back over his shoulder. Cranich sits underneath it, almost marked it. Players closing down. And there's the final siren. There's Mickey Edmonds. Congratulations from Wayne Glynn. And Imperials are premiers for 95. 18-13, 121 to 12 goals for 76. Mickey Edmonds congratulated by Patrick McDonald. Big hug from the Imperial supporters for Mickey. They are delighted for the captain coach. Will it be his last game for Imperials? Mickey Edmonds making his way across to Peter Sims. Have a look at the handshake between two coaches, very well respected. And for each other as well, throughout the league and for each other. Mickey is again congratulated by the Imp supporters. Stephen Tudor, you've had time to think, pick the best players.
Jim, you put me on a bit of a spot here. I'm not the best at picking best players. I'd have to agree with you a bit with South. I think Michael Mullins off a half-back flank did very well. They were under, the back line was under siege all day with the Imperials run-on players running the ball down. He did very well. His partner in crime, Matty Fear, I think did quite well too. Again, under pressure with the ball coming in numerous times. It was being bombarded there at various stages in the game. And this one may surprise you a bit, but my third choice is Mark Lane. I thought at the time he come on, he did quite well. When he got the ball, he used it well. He ran hard all day, he chased hard all day. Unfortunately, from there's not really much left with South. It just wasn't their day, unfortunately. Imperials, they weren't let. I mean, Imperials just played a lot better. They beat South at their own game.
And try and pick best players for
the Imperial side.
And leave someone out, Stephen. How could you?
Well, you couldn't really, Jim. I mean, they all played superbly. And, of course, led by the man himself, Mick Edmonds. I think if he doesn't get best on ground in everyone's books, then people were watching a different game. All day he led from the front. His foot passing was superb. His leadership was superb. His hand skills were superb. Everything he did, he just did to perfection. Very rarely made a mistake. He lifted his side totally. Capped it off with a couple of goals in the last quarter. He just played superb. Where do you go from there? They all played well. Wayne Riddle was running free, got lots of kicks. Shane Keane, just for his 4 goals in the first half, played superbly. You could go on and on. Ben Cranage picked up numerous kicks. The young fella in Bud Walker, they all played well, but I think there's no doubt that Mick Edmonds was best on ground by far.
Well, here we have the final throws of the 95 grand final. Imperials celebrate. Mickey Edmonds may be in his last game for Imperials. He won it in 93 as captain coach. He's come to Vansittart Park again. He's won it in 95. The Imperials Bulldogs, they came in as underdogs, Stephen. They've won it from behind, 18-13, 121 to 12-4, 76. Our thanks to Stephen Chute today, to Marty Foster, our boundary rider, Robin Reid, our director, all our camera crew, our production staff and our technical crew. But for 95 football on Channel 8 for local footy, Jim Buckley signing off from the Western Border League Grand Final for Channel 8 Sport.